Hey guys, welcome to episode 234 of 4PlayerAnimecast. We are in the middle of November, or first half, I guess. It is the 11th of November here, which means that at least a few hours ago, it was Pocky Day in Japan,
Yippee!
11/11, right? But yeah, things are getting cold here over in the east coast of the United States. I am your host, Spire, and with me are my compatriots, Near,
Hello.
Toast,
Ah,
and Dark.
Hello,
All right. Well, let's get
me.
on to the 2 weeks very briefly. I guess I'll start real quick. Again, I'd like to apologize for what happened last episode because I was a little bit out of commission for the latter part of the
yeah,
podcast.
dude.
Did you
Yeah,
get
dude.
lost?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you
Fuck
left us
you,
high
dude.
and dry, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You get lost in the back rooms? What happened?
Yeah, it was my laptop essentially conked out. I need to buy another one for like Black Friday, but it was not good.
Why's it gotta be
Uh
black?
Yeah, what's up, dude? What's up with
that is,
that?
yeah,
Why can't
what is
we?
with a Black Friday? Why
What's
can't it
with
be a
Black
white
Friday,
Friday?
dude?
Yeah. Or actually, I'm gonna have to wait for Cyber Monday
I'm
because what
sick
I've
and tired
noticed
of
is
all
that
this oppression on me as
yeah.
the one white guy on here.
Yeah, exactly. uh, but I actually want to wait for Cyber Monday usually because what I noticed was that companies just like do
Scam
their
you?
like shitty stuff on Black Friday, and then on Cyber Monday they're like, "Haha, buy more! Actually, these
Yeah.
are the slightly better discounts." I'm like, "Okay, well, screw you guys." So I decided to wait until Cyber Monday, but yeah, that and also I had to get my tires replaced because they were very old and getting worn out. And then my tires, while they were getting replaced, by there was this one repair shop that I went to that scratched the rims and just fucked them up, and now I had to get my rims replaced. But my rims are require some special, like lug nuts or whatever because of my car, and that required a whole rigmarole, and now I have to wait for a custom set of uh, rims or replacement wheels to come in for my car, and it's just like I've already spent like $1,000
This
plus
guy's
on
getting
just like
custom rims.
no, I can't even get like proper or not proper, but I can't even get like the usual like fancy custom rims or whatever. I have to just get like a basic like replacement wheel for the model of my car specifically. But yeah, I've already spent like $1,000 plus on that stuff, and it's very obnoxious. Mainly the waiting around, less the money. But yeah, it's been a lot of running around for me today, or not today. These past 2 weeks, but mostly real life stuff like that, and obviously catching up with some anime stuff. I know there were a couple of other visual novels that came out, or uh, yeah, there were a couple of others that
Which
came
one did
out.
you
I
get,
know
Fire?
what.
Did you get Sujimon Quest
No, I did
or
not.
or Kur Inutu Redux? I heard that's out.
No, I
What's
like.
reduxed about it?
Uh,
Is there even more rape?
I kind of wanted to read. I downloaded Tamayura Mirai, but because I know it got localized recently, so I didn't know about it before, but I kind of wanted to check it out. So I downloaded the raw version, but I have not like really gone through it yet. I like the kind of um vibe to it. I always like the whole like very simple, keep it simple. Boy comes to a town. There's nothing like random horror hiding behind the island or like Cthulhu shit going on or random mystery. It's just boy comes to island or boy comes to town, and it's just rom com stuff.
What do you mean you don't like spirit druid subplots?
I don't, yeah,
Spire doesn't
or
like World of
skinwalkers in your
Horror.
case,
Excuse
near
me.
right? Didn't you
Yeah.
cover that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
skinwalkers with the timelines.
Yeah.
What about World of Horror?
I'm not a big fan of that. If a Japanese boy comes to Japanese town, I'd like for it to not turn into Lovecraftian horror. That's just my vibe, but um, but yeah, I'm probably gonna skim through the raw version of that pretty soon. But it's mainly been that plus uh, again, stuff like watching some anime, one of which I'm going to cover this time around. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to cover what is it, Master Shiny Colors, because apparently it's there was like a preview theatrical screening, but the actual anime is in April 2024 or whatever, and I thought it was
What
going to
the
be this
fuck?
season, and I don't know what the crap like these anime series are doing with like the preview theatrical release and like the Crunchyroll event release, but it's actually in the summer. Like it's all like very um like there's a lot of corporate shenanigans going around these days and it's very stupid. But it is what it is. So that's been my 2 weeks. A little bit busy with real life, but here I am. Next, Near, how have your 2 weeks
Near, how's your geopolitical climate coming along nowadays?
been?
I don't like in
Yeah,
Canada.
what's going on in
No,
Canada?
we're talking no, Near. We're talking about America, obviously.
What? What? Huh?
What do you feel about our geopolitical climate, Near?
What do you feel about our politics? Is that
About
what
Yeah,
makes sense?
yours? I think
yeah.
it's pathetic. I think
What the
I think you
How,
guys
how do
I think
you
you
as a
guys are
I mean, I
Canadian feel
agree.
monsters.
about
I
America?
agree.
Oh,
But
okay. You guys, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Hey man, our guy's not much better,
You
but
people.
our guy, listen, our guy is at least going into mosques and getting booed. Okay, so you know, but
Near, I heard was it
Listen,
Vancouver?
our guy said, we don't even know. Like, we don't
yeah,
even know what's going
exactly.
on. Like, who
Near, I
knows?
heard
Who knows?
Near, I heard you can get all the drugs in Vancouver.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And I mean all
Vancouver's a big
drugs.
city. I wouldn't doubt it. I think you could say that about most cities, to be honest. But
Yeah.
you know,
But didn't it legalize all drugs?
no, no,
I don't think
I
that's
don't
how
think
that
so.
works.
I don't think.
Canada's prime minister fucking Rand Paul. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
We need to
You could just
legalize
see
all the drugs. No,
all
I
the
think
drugs.
at most they might have decriminalized them.
he immediately like just pulls out a bong pipe. It's like, what's
Yeah,
up?
but yeah, I do think Vancouver's been pushing for like clean distribution centers and stuff
Yeah.
for stuff like that. But I don't live in Vancouver, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, my 2
Anything
weeks
else?
have been
Any
okay.
skateboarders take a tank in Vancouver recently, or
No, no,
no? All right.
no. But I've been playing Mahjong.
Mahjong Soul.
Still, yeah, Mahjong Soul.
Okay.
It's getting a
How many skins you got?
What skin? Yeah, what skin do you have? That's the actual thing that's interesting.
So I use Yuzu in Mahjong Soul.
Okay.
But Mahjong Soul is getting a Prisma Ilia collab next
Do it,
week.
Nick.
That's
Yeah. So
what are the skins? What are the skins?
I mean it's I'm pretty sure it's Ilia, Chloe,
Kuroe
Miyu,
and Miyu, yeah.
and then Kid Gil, I think, is the male
What?
representation.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. So that's like the character that nobody wants in the gacha.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I
Is
would
it
have
their
been
magical girl costumes or
so the
is
magical
it
girl
like something more
costumes
Prisma
risque?
Ilia, so yeah.
the magical girl costumes are probably the Bond costumes, because the way Magic Soul works is like you get like the character, and then
Yeah.
you can like max out their Bond and get like an extra costume.
Okay.
And then sometimes they sell costumes as well, with the collab character. But
And before
Magic
like the
Soul
ball
is
costume
like
is just like their what is it, the baby doll costume that you always see in like
yeah.
the art.
But Magic Soul is like super stingy with the rolls. Like they literally never give rolls.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
like if you want to roll in Magic Soul, you have to either like pay, or grind your fucking ass off. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing My Soul for, I don't know, probably like a bit over half a year now, and I have a whopping like 25 rolls for my Spark. Like, yeah,
How much
like
is Spark? How much is Spark?
to spark a like non-limited character, it's 150
Oh,
rolls.
Christ.
Yeah, so Magic Soul is very stingy. And I'm not a pedophile, so I probably won't be rolling for Prismalia characters.
Probably
Now,
the
if
most
they had
popular
if they had Kirei,
collab. Yeah.
But
then that
Nier,
would
what
be a
if they
different
had
story.
Saber?
Then that would be
Prismalia Saber.
that'd be a very different story.
I think the most popular collab there was probably what is it? Kaguya-sama, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Although I think the Saki collab was actually extremely popular for
Oh,
them.
right, because Saki
Um,
collab. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Saki was the classic. Yeah.
They also did Code Geass and
Yes.
what was the most recent one? I don't. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They also did that. I think when they did the Kaguya collab, they didn't have what's her name, the pink-haired girl, which was like, what the fuck? Like, you
Oh,
guys,
right. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, you guys are like insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, not too much. Been keeping up with other
Okay.
gachas.
Other
I try,
gachas.
yeah. I'm trying to like, chip back into Honkai Star Rail,
Jesus Christ, man.
cause I'm a fucking idiot.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, other than that, I've just been playing more Baldur's Gate. Kind of got back into Halo Infinite. Played a bit of Lethal Company as well. That game is good. That game is very fun.
It has a new update.
Yeah, it's true. That game is very scary. But yeah. And then not too much. I've been kind of sick past week.
Yeah.
So I feel like every year when you know how it starts to get like this time of year it starts to get dark really early.
Yeah.
Like much earlier. That always fucks with me like super hard. And it really fucks with my sleep schedule, and I usually get kind of
Your circadian rhythm kind of thing going
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I've been kind of fucked up the past week, so
Yeah. Hope you recover soon.
hopefully.
Nier, do you got Niagara Falls fever? Is that what it is?
I don't know what the fuck that is, but no. No, I don't.
So after Nier, we should move on to, I guess, Dark. 2 weeks, please.
Oh, what have I been doing? That's actually a great question. Been keeping up with anime, obviously. I don't think I started anything new. Been catching up with Genshin Impact again because
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, the new character, right? I think.
Yeah, I got really lucky. And I got a non-limited SSR in my first 10 roll in the 20 rolls I had because I rolled. Did I roll last banner? Yeah, I did roll last banner because I got a guy named Rothsley. Why can't I remember his name? Is voiced by Daisuke Ono. So I wanted him. And he was really cool because he's like he was the first, I think, alongside another one, cryo catalyst user. And catalyst users are supposed to be like the mages, but they do like stupid shit with them constantly. So instead of being a mage, his catalyst kind of like just floats by him, and he punches guys with like V gloves from League of Legends. So he's pretty cool. And then now the new character Farina I got in my second 10 roll immediately after getting Dea, who is non-limited, but apparently also very bad. Which is a shame because she's cool. So I got really lucky, and I've been having a lot of fun. The new story was good, the new boss is cool, and the new music is also very cool. I think the
Yeah, I
France Zone
finally.
has been one of the better ones they've added.
Yeah, on the topic of note, I think they just recently, or like two weeks to a month ago, they released an album of like the BGMs and like whatever that they use, and there's this one BGM or one part of the OST that they play for every single general ad for Honkai Star Rail. And I mean like every freaking ad for like Honkai Star Rail that isn't specifically character themed. Um and I was going crazy trying to find it because it wasn't like available anywhere on YouTube or on HomeMix or wherever their YouTube channel or wherever, right? On their
Yeah,
Spotify.
they unfortunately usually take like months to update with like
Yeah, yeah.
the latest one. Or at least for
As
character tracks. For some reason Star Rail is like, oh, the new update's out, all the music is out.
yeah,
Genshin doesn't do that for some reason either.
yeah. So I finally got the one for the Honkai Star Rail at least. And yeah, that one was like now the fucking brainworms are out of my head now, but it took a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I've been doing some Halo, been doing some Apex, been doing some Overwatch. Um,
Uh,
yeah, Overwatch is fun. I just need them to really add that update that makes the battle passes not like horrific. So, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, I mean, also played Lethal Company. That game is so good. That game is like equal parts scary and fucking hilarious. Like just the VoIP like use in that game and just the enemies in that game and how they interact with you are really fucking good. And it's really fast too, which is nice. It's like you only have once you touch like the game is essentially an extraction game, but co-op.
Mm.
And once you touch down on a planet, you have to like find a building on like a moon and you have to get into it and like avoid monsters and collect as much like scrap as you can and
Okay.
like random items. But you only have like I think you might have like 10 minutes or something to do all of it to like get that and bring it back to the ship as
yeah.
much as you
Okay.
can, like maybe 15. Because like yeah, it's like every couple of seconds like 5 minutes goes by and you only have 12 hours. So it's it's a very very fast game too, and it's very fun. I would highly recommend it. I also played the demo for Half Sword. I'm going through a lot of streamer games, and right before this, and that is very addicting and very fun, and also very
The issue is
funny.
it's like half like a lot of the games that go into vogue these or that become like trending these days are like streamer games, which kind of like I just want to say it like obviously there are still a lot of games that come out just like as regular games, but I feel like more and more and more and more games are coming out specifically to have just like a streamer play it or like a set of like streamers collaborating to play it, which is like the issue is it's like it's fine like if I watch the streamer play it, but the moment I want to even remotely play that game, I think about the gameplay, I'm just like okay. Like if I'm not a streamer, if I'm not just like
Yeah,
shooting the
I
shit
feel
with
like
like anybody else, then it's just like not that fun.
I feel like something
So,
like I mean Half Sword especially, and something like
mhm,
Lethal Company. Definitely,
mhm.
like, they are technically like the big streamer games right now. I think the
Yeah.
best part though
Like
is that they
some
kind of
games are like
stand on their
fine.
own
Yeah.
legs. Lethal
Yeah,
Company just
exactly.
because it's like it's $10 and it's being made by one guy, so
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a good horror like co-op experience. I think
Yeah.
where a lot of games fall into traps is like something like that Party Animals game that came out where it's just like Gang
Yeah,
Beasts,
Party
but
Animals where
again.
it's like you
And
need
it's
to
like
have like a
you
billion
need to have
people,
like
yeah.
4 people at least, and like
Yeah.
if you don't, you are not playing the game at all. Like there is nothing you can
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And it's not like this is a small game made by like one guy. This game had like a lot of work put into it and has like
Yeah.
a lot of backing. And I feel like that's what
And
kind of
it's
pulls
not
up in
like
its
and it's
own
not like
face.
I think the one like game that in recent times that I'm like really talking about where it was just crappy, like a crappy game that was like it's fun to watch streamers do it, but like nothing else would be Only Up, right? That's like the quintessential streamer game where it's just like, oh, it's an acid swap.
Dude,
But like if you actually think about if you like even remotely use half like 3/4 of a brain cell to think about how you would feel while playing it, you would never play that game. No
yeah,
reasonable
it's
person
like
who's not seeing content
there's
would play
no
that game.
point in fucking like putting
Yeah.
yourself through that. Like it's not like it doesn't have the charm of like Jump King. It doesn't have
Or I want to
like
be the guy or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, it's
exactly.
not even like you're really meant to even really be beaten at the end of the day, except for like
Yeah, you're just supposed to spend time on it.
the most dedicated people. Yeah, you're supposed to be a streamer and you're supposed to like fall halfway through and be like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god."
and just scream. Yeah.
Which is fun and it's funny and I laugh my ass off at it with a lot of
Yeah.
streamers.
The good thing
But
is
yeah,
it's like it
I would
also
never
balances that
fucking
with like
play that
Minecraft.
myself.
Yeah, it's like the charm of Only Up as a streaming game is that it balances those moments of like, oh crap, I'm falling, with like the rest of it is filler that they can use to do essentially just chatting, like how Minecraft works, right? Like Minecraft, you can turn
Yeah.
your brain off and just do whatever and talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
But with Only Up, you have those moments where you're just like, oh crap, like I just have to do this shit again now. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm glad to hear that Lethal Company and Half
But
Sword
yeah, and I
are
think other
better
than
for
that,
sure.
just probably gonna pick up Yakuza 0 now because I watched a little bit of the new one and it looks very fun.
Are you gonna?
And it's
What
got
language you gonna play it in?
Oh, dude, I'm totally gonna play it in English because I love
Yeah.
Kiryu. I love when he talks like this. He's so fucking cool.
I love Kazuma Kiryu. I like it when he talks
I
like
am Kiryu.
I like it when he
Hello.
talks like a fake
Hello
tough
there.
guy because that's what Kiryu is. He sounds like a fucking loser trying to do a
Guys,
deep
I
voice.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but are we gonna do an additional call out to Yage at the end of this? Because we are already front loading a lot of this hate.
No, what? Dude,
Are we gonna call him out?
I'm
that's
saying he did a
crazy.
great job.
Yeah,
Okay?
he's
He
so
definitely doesn't
good.
sound
He's
like a
so
loser at all.
cool.
I'm
He
just
sounds
saying, like,
cool.
I'm
He
okay with
sounds
front
cool and
loading this.
aloof,
We had to
dude.
pace ourselves. We're gonna we're gonna have a lot of references to this later in the podcast as well, probably. So
Listen,
we gotta pace it. This is a marathon, I think, not a sprint.
you just like don't get what being aloof and cool is like. So like, just don't understand.
Anyways.
But yeah,
Anyways,
I think
thank you,
that's
Dark.
about
Yeah.
yeah, that's about it for my two.
Okay. Good. Last but not least, Toast.
What?
2 weeks, please.
I don't know. World of Horror is pretty cool. Fubuki's gonna be in the Geats movie. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Also,
That's
I've been catching
she's in the Geet. Wait, is she in the Geet movie or is she the Geets
She's-
and Gotchard
she's-
crossover, right?
Yeah, that one. She's in the Winter movie. She's the Geats Gummy. Why?
I wonder
Now,
how that's
why?
even gonna work.
She just says "con con" the whole time.
No, but I mean
That-
like, what's the mechanics behind there being fucking
Oh,
Geets Chemi, you know?
do you want to know? Because from the trailer, I have an idea.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm pretty sure they get turned into chemis somehow.
Oh no.
Because it's like, oh, they're there one moment, and then a flash, and then boom, there's the chemis. So that's suspicious. But Geets is a dude, right? How come he turns into a VTuber? What's the dealing behind that?
Because he's the like #1 star of stars, dude. So And who's the biggest right now? What's on top? V2.
Mr.
Naruto.
Beast.
Oh yeah, that's
Mr.
too.
And his
Holy
100 African wills.
shit, dude! They should, yeah, he built personally. That was so cool when Jimmy did that. Let me tell you something. Jimmy should be in
Yeah.
Kamen Rider. Okay.
He should sell his chocolates at Kamen Rider. Yeah. Any anime related stuff?
Anime? I've been keeping up with Kenshin.
Okay.
And by that I mean I watched the new episodes and then I rewatched like 30 episodes of the old one. And I don't remember what I said, but my thing still stands that the old one has better direction and music than the new one. Because the old one feels more like I guess a period drama, so to say. And the new one just feels like, oh hey, Kenshin's swordsmanship is so cool, right? And his Batosai nature is so cool, right? Kind of feels that well compared to he has better expressions in the original one. So yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
right, the Raijuta fight is true to the manga this time. But
This is
when they
good.
did the remember that one time when a Kenshin's friend wanted to be a terrorist and bomb the government? They added an extra scene where Sanosuke fights the guy, the artist guy. That wasn't present in the
Yeah,
manga.
they added an extra scene where Kenshin looks into the camera and says that he condemns his friend.
Because in the original anime, Kenshin fights Sanosuke a second time and beats him up to stop him from bombing. Right? That wasn't present in the manga. In the manga, Kenshin's there. Sanosuke sees him. He's like, "Damn, Kenshin's here. I guess we're done." So there was no second
So
fight.
they had to make him a man of conviction, is what you're saying.
I guess. So they had
So the
Sanosuke
only
fight
way
his
he would
friend
back
instead.
down would be if he was in a fight.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, they added the fight, I guess, just to be there. It's okay. I don't. It doesn't really detract from anything. But yeah, that was cool, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Did I mention World of Horror? World of Horror is pretty cool.
Yep.
I don't
All
know.
right.
What
I
else did I
guess.
watch in anime? No, I pretty much just watched Kenshin.
Okay. I mean that's reasonable still, but anyways, I guess if that was your 2 weeks, we should head on straight to our reviews here. Remember, guys, we have, I want to say, 3 more reviews before or including this episode, before we go on into, again, our winter preview as well as our end of the year awards show. Uh, just That's going to be our schedule going forward. But first off, the list is Toast. What do you have for us?
Oh, it's me already. All right.
Yes.
I got a manga, anime that's just about me. About
Literally
me.
me, yeah.
Literally me.
It's do you want me to say the name?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. It's the localized title is A Certain Middle-Aged Man's VRMMO Activity Log, also known in
No,
Japanese
sorry. It's
as
a certain dude's.
A
He's not
Certain
middle aged.
Dude's.
He's a
Yeah,
certain dude
sorry.
now.
A Certain Dude's VRMMO Activity Log is the official anime localization. And the Japanese name is Ossan no VRMMO Katsudouki. So that is originally web novel, right? It is Naro pretty much straight or Alpha Police or where I'm pretty sure it's Naro, right? Yeah. Naro okay. He's the guy there. But yeah, take it away.
Yeah. So when you think of so it's about this dude who goes and logs into One More Free Life Online, where it's a VR MMO. Remember those? Yeah. So he's what?
Not even Second Life, just one more free life online.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a 38-year-old salary man, but I don't know if he's a salary man. I guess because in the opening he's a salary man. He's got the suit on, but later on when he's on his lunch break, he's in like work clothes. Like He's in a jumpsuit. Is that what salarymen do nowadays? They're salary
Yeah.
jumpsuits. I don't know. So
Yeah, I don't know whether he's like a blue collar worker or whether he's
I
like
guess.
fully white collar or
But
whatever.
yeah,
It is,
so it's a new game. Like the start of the actual server. He makes this character called Earth, and he makes a big deal about because I'm 38 years old and I'm an old man. I can only play for 2 or 3 hours a day, so I'm going to pick the 6 worst skills in the game, so no one else wants to play with me.
Okay.
And yeah, so like
And then those skills end up becoming like overpowered or whatever, right?
pretty
Is that how
good
it works?
because so he picks up snaking skill. He picks up like cooking, wind magic, bows, kicking, and I think potion making.
God, I fucking
So
hate the fact that like I could guess at least 2 to 3 of those skills that you were gonna list.
you know what those are, right?
Yeah.
You know what build that is? That's a sneak archer, and sneaker like everyone
So
who's
he's
got a
playing
brain.
Skyrim.
Yeah, pretty much.
The fact that I could already guess him doing cooking and potions at the very least is just like
I mean, it's a fucking isekai, dude. Like any
Yeah,
form of
dude.
crafting is
It
just
has
a
to be like,
given in
dude,
a fucking
He
MMO
has
setting.
to
I'm making omu rice, dude.
yeah, I was gonna say fried rice, and then Dark interrupted me with the oven rice example, and I just
Yeah.
hated myself even more. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So he
so
takes the Skinner skills. Okay.
so the reason why these 6 skills suck is because in I believe in the MMO, you have to aim with the bow. So most people are
Oh
like, "Wow,
no.
aiming sucks dick," and you can miss, and it's got like a
Wait a
hit
minute, this
percentage rate.
really
So
hold on, time out. This
Wait,
really
wait,
is
wait,
this
wait, wait,
really
wait, wait,
is
wait, wait, wait,
Skyrim
wait, wait, wait,
because
wait.
the Skyrim VR
So
bow is
you have to
fucking
aim.
impossible.
You have to aim, and there's a hit percentage.
I think so, yeah.
That is dog shit. That's actually dog shit.
So people were like, "Wow, why would I do that? Let me just go with a strength build in melee." It's like, okay, sure. And then wind magic. Wind magic's not good because it's got low attack power. It's not meta. And then the other ones, I believe the life skills like blacksmithing and potion making. Everyone's like, "Oh, the NPC sells weapons and armor and potions. Why would I need it? Why would I need life skills?" So no one likes those.
This game sounds a
Whatnot.
little fucking unbalanced, if you ask me. If
Well, it's the
you could just
beginning of the
ignore life
service and
skills.
whatnot. It's addressed later on, but yeah. So he does that. He picks skills, and then because this game is new, like there have been several patches in the series so far. There's 6 episodes, so like I guess every episode there's a new patch or so. It moves relatively fast because
Wait. So is a how much of this game is about like dealing with a patch? Because the patch part is very interesting to me, actually.
I mean, like I said, every episode there's like we added a new feature to this game.
Yeah, but that's pretty
That's actually
typical,
pretty
right?
cool.
Because that is it like really focusing on like the nitty gritty of like patches, or is it more so
Oh,
like the
no,
way
it's
Beauforty
it's a
does it,
slow
where they're
life.
like, "Hey guys, they added a new level, okay? New patch,
Kind of like
they
that.
added level 4."
It's more
That
like,
is what
hey,
happens
here's
in Beauforty a lot.
it's a new patch, new character, new balances, new game balances. So, like the first major patch is, oh yeah, NPCs can run out of equipment and potions. So everyone's like, oh shit, we better get some potion makers. So suddenly his
How
skills
come
Wait,
that's
are
a
wait,
patch?
useful.
wait, wait, what?
How come that's a
That
Listen,
patch?
is
this
a
game is
that's a
made. This is
fucking dog shit patch.
It's
What?
early
Bro,
access,
this
okay?
game
It's
is
early
made.
access.
This game is. Listen, guys, it's being made by Amazon. Okay, you need to relax. All right.
It's
I
early
mean,
access,
there's
guys.
a reasonable explanation for this later on, which makes sense, but
What,
in
I
that
the
mean,
it's
the
made by
reasonable
Nexon?
explanation was
Like,
that no, this shit was made by Amazon. You saw New World. New World was out here being like, "Hey guys, new patch. Characters can actually like die now, so you know.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's Soul Life about Earth and his adventures as a sneak build archer, which apparently sucks, but is actually pretty good because he learns to get past his mistakes.
Yeah, listen, like Nier said, that can't suck. We've all played Skyrim, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I played Sneak Archer also, but I also played two-handed heavy armor, so
I think literally
I
every
can
single
throw in a
person who
bow
played
there.
Skyrim
Yeah,
played Sneak
I think if
Archer.
you're playing Skyrim and you're not playing a sneak archer, you're playing the game wrong. Like
Yeah,
Sneak
like
Archer, sneak
everyone
two-handed,
has
like
that
strong
little
attack.
twinkle
Hell
in
yeah!
their eye. Yeah, everyone has that little twinkle in their eye in the beginning where they're like, "Hey guys, this time it's gonna be different, okay? I'm gonna
but
be a
it isn't.
mage," or "I'm gonna this time I'm gonna be a mage," and then you get bound bow, and then you're a sneak
Yep.
archer that now summons your bow.
Hell yeah! But yeah,
That sounds sick.
I mean it's a slow life, pretty much, and what I find the most interesting part is there's a lot of focus on his crafting skills and whatnot. So there's a good chunk of the episode spending like, oh hey, these beginner bows suck. All right, so I'm gonna make myself a bow, and he makes a bow, and it's slightly better than average. And he's like, oh my arrows suck. I'll craft some arrows. Like here's a twisty arrow, and here's a regular arrow. Here's an arrow with like here's an impact arrow, and whatnot. And like, oh, medicine. I made medicine that one time because I want like the medicine I made is slightly better than the NPC ones. They sold out. I guess I better make some more and whatnot. Also, and yeah, so it's a good. What makes this series really good is you can see how he takes his skills and slowly invents his own fighting style with them, and like the material and what how he makes his own equipment and stuff. So it's a lot of fun stuff to watch
So what is
because
the
that's the most interesting thing in an MMO, isn't it? The life skills and the crafting. Screw who
that
cares about
is
the
true.
battles? You gotta. I want to hear about. I want to hear about all this material gathering and crafting arrows and whatnot.
Can I ask, what's sort of the flow and focus of the series? Because obviously there has to be like character introductions, but does it like front load all the characters and then it just goes like 95% him doing crafting plus like legit just pure slow life? Or is it does he go through arcs where a character is introduced at each arc and the arc is sort of centered around him like helping out or cajoling the character to come into his harem or his party or whatever, or like how is that flow slash
The thing
focus?
is, it's mostly because he's a solo player at heart. It's mostly
Yeah.
all about him. Like
Okay.
there's side characters that get introduced, but they're just side characters. They don't take a big focus on like the story. There's only one character that I guess plays a major part for a multitude of reasons, and that's the fairy queen, voiced by Ueda Reina. And let me tell you, her voice acting is by far the best in the entire series in the entire anime. Like she blows everyone else out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, Uedo Reina Uesama has always been, has been a favorite of mine ever since, I even,
Who's your
you know,
name her favorite your favorite role?
it would probably have to be her sort of. I mean, it's not her necessarily. Her is it her breakout role? Was Miyane her breakout role in Wataten? Because it's like before she had supporting roles, I think she didn't have like a big like main role before Miyane, right? I think, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I think that would be my favorite, probably. Um, but yeah, I mean, Widow Reina obviously always doing a solid job. But are there any other like voice actresses that stand out
Let's see.
there?
Earth is voiced by Ishikawa Saito.
Okay,
Ishikawa
okay.
Kaito. I'm sorry.
Ishikawa Kaito,
I never heard of this guy. Who is he? I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Some
No, no.
Haikyuu guy? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe Uchida Maya is a one-off character.
Okay.
One-off being, I don't remember who she is. I think she was part of his guild because he joins a guild with some other dudes. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I forget who she is, but yeah. Well,
Okay.
they're side characters. They're except for the fairy queen, they're not really that prevalent. They're like, hey, you want to join us for this one dungeon? He's like, okay. They do the one dungeon and they're done. And then he's
But
like,
it
back.
is
I'm back to
mostly just
crafting.
himself, right?
Yeah,
as you said. Okay.
but remember when I said that like the the game balance is wildly is wild and out there?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I should bring it up, but might be important, but it's not really important right now, so I don't know. I might not bring it up.
Okay.
But yeah,
Um.
so the only we're 6 episodes in. There's only 2 towns for some reason. I don't know.
The entire freaking game.
I mean, like one patch was, hey, we're gonna, the NPCs can run out, so we're gonna balance the game, make more crafters and whatnot, and then like, oh, hey, a second town, and here's this. There's 2 towns, and now we can move out of the beginner town, and here's some. You can train fairies, and now there's a fairy taming arc, and that's where the fairy queen comes in, and there's this like whole battle with that. There's a
Okay.
whole battle royale to determine the next fairy queen, and stuff happens. I'm not gonna
Can I?
spoil it.
That reminds me. I have a question on that sort of stuff as well, because like it's one thing when you have a premise where the guy falls like asleep and or like falls into the isekai, or sorry, falls into the MMO world, and it becomes just a full on pure strict isekai, right? And everybody there is supposed to be sentient and doing whatever, right? But it's another sort of story structure, and it's a slight variant, right, of the isekai story when they are strictly in an MMO and they're dealing with, obviously there are players, but a lot of times in the anime or in the web novel they are dealing with NPCs as well, right? How does the author deal with NPC versus main character or player interactions? Is it just
Well,
kind of like swept under the rug and it's just like, oh yeah, the NPCs kind of all act like sentient beings, or like how? Because especially since the reason why I asked this for this series in particular is that this series makes a point to be like, here's a patch, like this is very like game kind of thing, but at the same time you have to have these sorts of isekai elements all in row, right? All in a row where you have all these other characters and fairies and whatever stuff kind of acting in a very standard sentient fantasy way. So how does the author kind of mix that up?
well, since you brought it up, and it's been touched at in the series, they make it a point that the some of the NPCs are more than they appear. Specifically, I believe
Is
it
this like
starts with.
foreshadowing? Are you talking about like a foreshadowing specifically, or like
It's
what's
not
going on
really
there?
foreshadow. I mean, uh,
Oh, okay.
with the fair, like the second town and the introduction to like fairy pets, they make it a point to say, hey, these fairy pets they're not dumb. They have some sort of intelligence, so they pay
Okay.
attention whether you treat them right or wrong. And
They're true AI.
I guess. And then
They
they
they are
they
sen-
have
they
become
are
sentient.
sentient
Yeah.
beings living in the
Yeah.
video game.
Hey
and when the
man,
whole
they're
fairy queen
real
appears,
in Beaufry too, okay?
VRMMO become human.
and like when the fairy queen appears, they make it to mention that hey, her AI is much better than the other ones. They made it
Okay.
strictly like more human. So, and also like
S-
later on, you see the mysterious people in the black room, in the mysterious glass, like people with glasses in a dark room. Like, oh, it's interesting how
Wait,
this AI.
in the MMO?
No, in real life.
Oh,
They're like,
okay.
oh, it's
Oh,
interesting how
like a board of
this,
directors or whatever.
yeah, how the Sele people with their funny tablets.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, they make it a point to mention that, oh, hey, the Fairy Queen is interacting with with this one player in a weird way. We better pay attention to this.
We better kill him.
Yeah, we better kill him.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have to beat him
We're
to
gonna
death
take
with
him
hammers
down.
right now.
so
Put a
I
beat
guess
on
the
him.
game devs are watching the MMO and they're adjusting it accordingly. I
Okay.
mean, I guess that's why, like, hey, people notice that there are no crafters. We better make it so there are some crafters in this game.
Yeah.
And oh, hey, this one player does this with some skills. We better highlight him and whatnot. So yeah, just
Okay.
some stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. It's pretty good. It's
How are the visuals, audio visuals here?
it's made by it's made by Maho Film, so
Mahal Films.
they're okay.
What else?
If you
Yeah.
remember Maho Films, they made Uchinoko. Uchinoko's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
They made the 100-Man Inuchis. I don't remember that. Leodale.
That
Leodale's
one
good.
was not that. Yeah.
It was okay. 100-Man was pretty good. Leodale, I like that one. Level 1 unique skill, don't watch that one.
They did Uchimusume, right? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think you
Uchimusume's
mentioned that. Yeah.
Uchinoko,
Uchimusume.
yeah, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So they're pretty good. Yeah. They've done a lot of like isekai stuff, and yeah, they've done a lot of isekai stuff, huh? It's they're going on the White Fox road, except not as crappy. Except for maybe I think I want to say By the Grace of the Gods was a little bit iffy of a pickup, but most of the other ones were okay.
I mean, out of their, let's say, out of their repertoire of isekais,
Hmm.
this is easily by far the best one.
Okay.
Because what? By the Grace of the Gods, that one sucked. Level 1 unique
Yeah, yeah.
skill, that sucks.
I think you reviewed By the Grace of the Gods, right? When it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going live last
Leadale,
year.
though,
Yeah.
never mind. Never mind. I'll say it's on par with Leadale because I really like Leadale. But yeah,
Yeah. Anything else?
characters
Yeah.
other than Earth and the Fairy Queen, they're inconsequential. No one cares.
No,
They
okay.
don't
Well,
matter.
that's unfortunate, but it's also like it's to be
What do you
expected
expect?
in. Yeah, it's to be expected when the author is specifically aiming for like a solo player's slow life kind of perspective.
And I mention a lot about the Fairy Queen, but the thing is, even she herself is like a minor side character because
Okay.
she's the Fairy Queen, right? She's got to rule the Fairy Kingdom. So
Can
even
I also
after
ask?
the whole what?
You might not have read, up to where the light novel or whatever has been, light novel or web novel or whatever has been updated, but do you think from like your experience and your sense from reading this series or watching this series, is your sense that is this series like because is this series A going to develop some sort of dramatic climax, and B, is that dramatic climax going to be centered around the AI human interaction between like Fairy Queen plus maybe some sort of shadow villain slash corporation plus the main character? Is that sort of how the dramatic climax is going to end up being, if there is one? Or do you think it's just gonna the author is just gonna be like, nah, I mean, like we'll pretend to do that on the side, but it's gonna be 99% soul life.
I don't know
What do
about
you think
any
it's gonna
evil corporation of some sort, but I do know that later on there's a lot of focus about, like, I guess how lifelike, how like
Why?
um how advanced the character AI is in this game.
Right.
I
So they
guess.
do kind of the author do because the issue it's not an issue. I don't want to say that it's an issue. Is that a lot of these sorts of setups where there are these sort of NPCs or these AIs have a very quick way or a natural way of falling into a pace where the central conflict kind of ends up becoming, oh yeah, here are the AIs, like how are the humans going to treat them? and how is this sort of tension slash conflict going to be resolved, right? So I was half expecting slash predicting that the author would kind of do the same thing, especially once you mention the fairy queen, right? The sort of more sentient-ish AI. So that's sort of what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
so
anything
far,
else?
I mean, it's good. I like it. This is I wish there was a lot more. This is just my opinion, but I wouldn't have minded an entire episode dedicated towards crafting. But I guess
You want even more crafting.
that's the whole. Why do you play an MMO if not to build up your life skills, right?
Yeah, part of the enjoyment people get from Soul Life series is sort of just the pages and minutes of worth of seeing crafting stuff. So I
Hell
guess
yeah,
if
dude.
you are going to lean into that, yeah.
But yeah, I'd like more focus on the crafting, but it's not that kind of. Well, it is that kind of series, but I guess it might be boring to some people who watch the anime.
Okay.
But yeah, I like the series a lot, and apparently other people like it too. It's got what 27 volumes, 37 volumes. What's
Jesus
the number?
Christ. Wait, the light novel has 37
Yeah,
volumes?
right.
What the
Damn.
That's
That's a lot of
like
28.
more
patches.
than
That's a
all the
Twenty
lot
data
of
28.
live.
patches.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28.
That is
I was right.
legitimately more than all the Data Live main stuff and like the side story novels combined, right? Like that's a ridiculous amount of volume of light novels. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um
I will say. I mean, another negative is I don't know whether it's the author or it's for the sake of storytelling, but the one of them doesn't know how an MMO works properly. Because what sneak archer is not one of the best classes in the game that people thought. I don't know, man. It's everyone knows like what long range builds are always better in an MMO
Hmm.
than a close range build by far.
We're
I
about to
mean, it
break it.
depends.
We're about to break
The
into the
only
fucking like what
the
you
only
call it
times
debate.
that's like like that's not really the case when like the ranged build does like absolutely dog shit DPS and it has like
yeah, it
no
depends on the
Yeah.
support
balance of the
skills or
game,
something.
probably. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
because there's an accuracy meter and you can
That's why
miss
you
and
have to
whatnot.
have specific mechanics just for ranged. Okay.
But like also life skills not being no one wants to take life skills in an MMO. People would grind that shit out immediately, and it would not be looked down upon by any other player.
I mean, also like does
Well, the
this
problem
does
is
this does this series not acknowledge like the idea that you could just have like an alt character?
I don't
there
think so,
are no
no.
alts. You are your character.
How can you have an alt
True.
in an MMO near? They
If you
scan your
die in the
brain.
game, you die in real life.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's not like they're living in the game, right? Like you
Oh
said
yeah,
there are
I guess
scenes
that's a
outside
question
of the
too.
game, so
Is this game is this show very much in the same vein as like Bofity, where like they may as well be living in the game, even though
No,
like they're not,
I don't know.
as far as consequentially goes.
Well, there's a
Because like
deeply
Bofuri literally has like
intricate
time
base system.
dilation with
So
the game. Like
I mean,
it's
I
fucked
guess
up.
that would make sense because Earth only says, "Oh, I'm only gonna play 2 or 3 hours because I'm a salaryman." But you see him spend hours in the game. Like, oh, I'm gonna spend the entire day crafting this and this. So I guess that's how
I guess the
they would
question
write it
is,
off as well.
do they acknowledge whether or not though that is like literal time dilation for them? Because in Bofuri they do,
No,
and it's very weird.
no,
It's
I don't think they do. No,
very weird
but yeah,
thing to just drop. Like, damn, we spent what felt like a week in that game, and it was one
I
night.
want to say
Like,
at least once, like once every episode, they make it a point to say, "Oh, he takes his helmet off and logs off." So I mean, I don't know
damn, bro.
how they measure that. Anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, where am I
What
going
what
with this?
But
What else? What else you want to
what
know?
mal rating? What mal rating?
I'm
would you
gonna
give
give it
How
a
are
solid.
how are the
like,
audiovisuals?
They're fine.
Yeah,
They said they're all right, right?
They're not the
Yeah.
best, but I mean, what do you expect from Maho films?
It seems to. Does it follow it? It doesn't seem like it that closely follows the character designs from the original light novel, right? I think it's a little bit more diluted. You know, it is what it is. That's pretty standard.
I
too.
mean, I don't know. They look like the mangas. They sure.
Yeah, it's probably
It's
more closer to the manga's
close enough.
designs.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Mal
But yeah,
mal rating?
I don't know. It's fine. I don't know. No
What
real
score would you give it?
qualms. Maybe one qualm is one time in the second dungeon in the entire game, which they made the second dungeon a what is it? Randomly generated dungeon. There's some weird ass skeletons that were
Sam, they're
made as
already
CG.
cutting corners. That's crazy.
It's a
They're gonna be
10-floor
talking about
dungeon.
acid swaps in like episode 8.
10-floor dungeon. You only have an hour to stay
This
in there.
really is.
There's
This
some
really is
weird
like
ass
an
skeleton.
MMO. That's like fucking WoW's Molten Core raid being just fucking brown and underground with like enemies, but they're big.
But yeah, the skeletons were CG. They look kind of suspicious, and that's about it. That's the only thing. But yeah, and then audio, it's fine. Like I said, Kana Ueda Reina is this absolutely standout voice of this series. You can tell
Mhm.
immediately. Wow,
Yeah.
her acting chops are way above everyone else.
Yeah, Winarita always rakes it in, or is very solid bulwark against most acting roles. So glad to hear that. Yeah. I guess if that's it.
What was my mail score? I'll give you a solid 8 because I like this series quite a bit. Is it the
Okay.
best isekai of this season? What else was there this season? What season is this? I don't know.
Potion-danomi
Are we still in
is
fall?
an isekai.
Yeah.
There
there's a
actually
decent
there are
amount,
definitely
I
a
think.
couple of isekai this season for sure.
Yeah.
People, what's the other MMO one this series? This season? Pandora or something? What am
I think no, it wasn't X-Rank Dottle. It was like
thinking? No.
yeah, there were a couple of others. I don't remember the list. Sorry.
What's the big one?
There's the bird one, right?
Yeah. What's
Birdman
that
one.
called again?
Oh yeah, that's the
Um,
other game matter. I was like
Shangri-La,
Kusume
whatever.
or whatever.
Yeah. It
Kusuge
was.
one,
Yeah. Yeah. There's other than that, there's there's a couple other like smaller ones. But anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover
Goblin Slayer and Shangri-La Frontier.
yes, Shangri-La
People,
Frontier, yeah.
this will probably be overshadowed by Shangri-La Frontier.
Yeah.
Okay.
That bad, huh?
I mean, I get why, but I don't think.
Shangri-La Frontier like a sleeper hit, like, or do you just think like Shangri-La Frontier is like, just a so wacky that
Appeals to people? Appeals to people, yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's better than I don't think it's better than VRMMO, but I believe most people will because the animation's better and I guess the story is more appealing because it's not slow life. This one's slow life, so I guess if they want good action scenes, they definitely won't watch this series because action scenes are kind of ass compared to Shangri-La Frontier. But I get that.
Anyways,
8
thank
out of
you.
10. Watch it if you want cool, slow life crafting, dude. 38-year-old old man.
Okay. Well, thank you, Toast, for helping cover a certain middle-aged man's or a certain dude's VRMMO activity log, also known as Toaru Ossan no VRMMO Katsudouki. This is done by, again, Maho Films. They've done a lot of isekai stuff from, I want to say, what is it, Uchimusume, all the way to this stuff, Standing on Million Lives, or and then By the Grace of the Gods, Leodil of those. And this is, again, as Toast said, seems to be a pretty solid adaptation, so please do check it out. Next on the list here, we have Dark. What do you have for us?
Oh, geez, I have quite the isekai here. I have.
Do you want me to?
I got a lot of tabs open here. No, I got this. I have in English, I shall survive using potions, or Potion-danomi de Ikinobimasu.
Yeah.
And
I think
yeah,
literally the shortened version is just called Potions anime in Japanese.
Yeah, I
or
mean, I
Potion
just call
anime.
it potions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what it's called in Japanese too.
yeah. So this series is an isekai, and get this, our protagonist Kaoru Nagase died unexpectedly while walking home from her office job one night. She suddenly finds herself in front of a man dressed in white. The man introduced it. Well, that's not entirely true.
That's a Clans member.
Yeah, he's dressed entirely in white, and he only has eye holes coming out, and it's not October 31st. So the man introduces himself as God, and apologizes for his
That's
mistake
still a
that
Clans member.
resulted in her untimely demise, vowing to make it up to Kaoru by reincarnating her into another world. So basically, he's doing this thing that's like, which is also like, damn, dude, this is like really stupid. He's like stabilizing like dimensional shifts or something, and part of like the dimensional shift was like right in front of Kaoru, and he didn't see her.
Nice.
And so like the energy waves that he sends out to stabilize it fucking cut her in half. You don't get to see that, but you do see it like hit
Dang
her
it.
midsection
You don't get to see
essentially.
that in
And
the anime?
yeah,
Dang.
she mentions to like people, because like what happened was, so after he does that, she cuts a deal with him like, okay, but I also want to like say goodbye to everyone then, because he's like, I can't bring you back to life, because like that's not how your world works. Like this world works. So like if I do that, that'll only make this instability even worse. But I can send you
Yeah,
to a
I've seen
different
Spider-Verse,
world.
dude. I've seen Spider-Verse. All right.
So he's like, okay, so I can send you. He's like, I can send you to a different world. Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool with a different god? Like, huh? Come on now. And she's like, okay, but you have to let me like say goodbye to everyone here first, then, in like a dream, in like a lucid dream that they have where they like know it's me 100%. And so that's where she mentions like her parents and her siblings. She's like, yeah, so that's it. Like, I'm going to another world. And her parents are like, you know, I always knew you had a good head on your shoulders. I'm sure you'll be A-okay. And she's like, you know, you seem to be rebounding really quickly after seeing your daughter fucking like bisected, but sure. And yeah, so it was a really weird opening to like hit you immediately like, yeah, this is this person literally like saying goodbye to all their friends. But then she cuts a deal with the next world's goddess, Celestine, which she gives Kaoru a younger body. Because I think in the show it's initially supposed to be that Kaoru is like, I don't know, maybe almost in her 30s or something, because she's like been
She's a
working as like an
20-something office worker. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the
Not
implication is
bad.
she's in like her late
She's not an
20s or
Ossan.
something. But yeah, so she was like, you know, making me a little bit more youthful. Like, this is fucked up. Like, you killed me, and now you're gonna just reincarnate me. All right, I want some goodies. And so she cuts the deal to make her younger. And she gives her the ability to make any potion that she wants in any receptacle that she can imagine, and the potion can be like anything that she can imagine. The potion can do. And also
Jeez.
the way
What-
she disperses it can also work. She can also make any liquid by that in that means as well.
So what? How far does this idea of, or at least so far in the episodes, how far does this idea of she can put any power into the potions? Like how far does
So
this?
I don't know about
what is a
powers
potion?
yet. So
I can't
so
say
far
fire.
we've
What is
seen
a
her
potion?
do healing. It's just a liquid. It's just a liquid with effects. Like, which means
So wait, why can't she just make a potion that turns somebody into God?
Wish for more wishes, kind of
Well,
thing.
Yeah.
you're asking that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's literally what's about to happen in the upcoming episode.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
I
that's
think
what I
she's
would
about
do.
to go. I think she's about to go sicko mode, because I don't think the goddess will actually descend, but there's like a conflict going on right now, and the next episode is like the goddess descends to like end this conflict after like
Yeah, because
her friends have been mortally wounded, and I'm like, I have a feeling that
Says-
she's just gonna be like, what if I just make a
feed
potion
them
where I can just like
senzu beans.
heal
Yeah.
everyone? Like, I can
Feed
heal
them-
everyone,
That's
and I'm really
actually-
strong, and I'm really fast. And I can
Yeah.
shoot fucking laser beams out of my eyes. Like,
Yeah, because that's that's been in one or two other kind of stories like isekais and stuff like that, where for instance, the more common one that I can think of right now is I think Toast might know this one, where it's like I won the lottery and like got like 80 oak coins or whatever, 88 however many coins, and went to like another world or whatever, and in that isekai, it turns out that if you bring earth food over and feed it to the isekai people, they become like super strong. Like they all become like Hercules strength.
that also happens in campfire
So-
cooking. They copy campfire cooking. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Fire, to
they
answer your
copied them.
question,
That was
we
a
need,
completely original idea.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, Toast, what are you gonna say?
Fire, to answer your question, we need to look at the other works that this author has done, because I mentioned this before.
Okay.
Remember, it's Funa,
Okay.
right? Remember 80,000 gold coins? What she did? And
Oh,
Did
Oh
I
wait,
say
is this
make-
the same person? This is
that
the
is the
same
same
author?
author, yes.
Yo,
Holy
this
shit.
author, I'm gonna keep it a
I
buck.
knew.
I like this author. I like this author because they are bold and beautiful enough to just be like, whatever, fuck it. I'm just like the character.
Yeah,
we
'cause-
already
'cause
established that they're
the lottery-
overpowered. Like,
Yeah, because the lottery isekai I liked quite a bit too, and I know Toast liked it.
wait,
a
are you
decent
talking
amount
about?
as
Are you
well.
talking about saving up 80,000?
No,
The
it's something
retirement
else.
one? Oh, okay.
No. I'm talking about there's like a different thing where it's like it's a male protagonist, but essentially he wins the
Oh,
lottery
yucky.
and he gets a bunch of money, and he's able to go back and forth between the real world and the Japan and the Isekai world, kind of like 80,000 coins, but
Yeah,
he
but
uses essentially earth items.
kind of a male protagonist, so gross. Yucky,
Yeah,
ew.
icky.
Gross,
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
gross.
But yeah, I did
Um,
like that isekai quite a bit, and he's bringing that, or they're bringing that sort of idea to this isekai as well, which is not terrible, because it's like it's better to just admit it quickly than to be like, hey, maybe they could not be broken, like maybe these powers
Nah.
could. It's like
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
like,
that's
nah, this
yeah,
power
exactly.
is like literally the strongest fucking thing you could like possibly imagine.
Yeah,
Do
Do you
exactly.
remember
So
the other
yeah,
series was the other series? Well, this person also made was Make My Abilities Average, and remember what they did?
Okay.
It was like it was the difference
I
between
remember
an
that one
ant
too.
and a dragon. So that's like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
average of the entire world. So she's
God damn it.
halfway between them. Like, okay, man.
Okay.
but yeah,
but
so this power goes pretty far, because like for an example, like as an example, like not only can she do things like make a potion that like literally changes her hair color and disguises her and stuff like that temporarily. She can make like a poison that when you like a poison potion that when you touch it, it like just creates like really uncomfortable inflammation as like what do you call it, like a defense against pickpockets. There's what do you call it, what else would you say, there were, oh, and not only that, like you have to remember that not only are the potions overpowered, she can do things like set timers on them, like, oh yeah, like this is a really powerful healing potion, but it expires in 5 days, like things like that, so that people can't hoard them. She can do things like when she wants to make a potion, and she can like choose the receptacle, she starts out by making potions with super elaborate like decanters or whatever, and goes to like a craftsman shop and is like, hey man, how much would this like go for? And then she realized she overdid it because she put like a glass what do you call it, like sculpture of the goddess on like the top of the potion with like gold inlays and shit. And they're like, this would literally be a like magnum opus for the master craftsman. Like, who made
That's
this?
a classic,
Like,
yeah. That's also like a classic trope, right? It's like
yeah.
they like the Japanese person brings over some Etsy beads and they're like, we've never seen this
No,
in our lives.
to be fair, that's not what happened. Like this shit was like you would see this today and you'd be like, holy shit. Like this
Yeah.
glass work is fucking insane. Um and but yeah, so she can just do it off of mental images, but that also lets her do things like imagine a potion that is decorated with like a glass like a flower ornament or and like these like golden beads, and then
Oh,
she
she can like
uses
sell the
that as like
bottles too.
jewelry. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. She originally was selling the bottles, and then she started doing things, and then when she didn't need to do that anymore, she started doing things like um like if she needed to meet a noble at one point, and she was like, okay, well, if I'm going to this noble party, I'm going to need some kind of accessories. So then she like makes the bottle with accessories,
Mhm.
and then just uses those. So like it
Why not
is just
just make an
absolutely
infinite
a
money
busted.
potion?
I mean, she basically
That's
could. That's the thing. Like her
yeah.
goal, like she essentially has
The author
infinite
doesn't
money.
want it to end in
Her
one chapter,
goal,
dear.
well, it's not even about well,
Listen,
because
man,
now for her,
I'm just saying,
for
man.
her,
Like, you
it's
could
not
just
about
make.
making money anymore. Because like her whole thing is I'm going to survive on potions. So what
Mhm.
she's doing now is she's literally just being altruistic, where she creates like she does the classic thing that again I will lap up these series all the time, especially because with the female protagonist, you're not shackled down by a harem, and that always pops up. And now it's like, yeah, this protagonist, she saves every orphan. Okay, are the sick
All the
orphans
offense.
ailing? They're not ailing anymore. And then she makes like an underground like network of the orphans to be like, look, like you guys will literally never be hungry again or want for anything, but you have to be like my
Right.
eyes and ears to let me know when people need help that are like, righteous, upstanding people. And that's essentially
Right,
her
right, right.
goal
Are you
now.
saying she's exploiting child labor, dude?
She
Yeah, that's what it sounds
absolutely
like.
is using child labor. Like,
What the fuck,
The
bro?
children yearn for the alleys.
yeah, she's
The
like, she's
children.
literally like, the children yearn for learning how to count and do money
Yeah,
management
and
because
information
that was the next
brokering.
thing that they did. Yeah, that is literally the next thing that she taught them. So it's a lot of stuff like that. It's a lot of her being like, I'm going to essentially reform this world to live comfortably in it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to use my potions to do it. And very quickly, it becomes known like she never planned to stay hidden as having this ability either.
Mhm.
She just played her cards right to reveal like, yeah, I am a friend of the goddess of this world. And if
Mhm.
you like if you, and she literally went through a process of like essentially manipulating the church and everything by pretending that they've been like smited because they slighted her by get
Mhm.
this thinking of a potion in a glass ball that was just nitroglycerin and blowing up their
Oh,
carriage because it
okay.
drops on their
Dark.
carriage.
That's just called an explosive potion. It's fair.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she just blows up their carriage and is like, "See, like if you fuck with me, like you can't do that.
I'll
Like I'm
kill
a friend of
you.
the goddess.
I'll
Like the
fucking
goddess will
blow
smite
everything
you."
up. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and so yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of her essentially manipulating or like, yeah, I mean, essentially manipulating it. Like she pretty much calls that out and is like, I don't really like calling it that, but I guess that is what I'm doing by like
She's
healing.
fucking gaslight gatekeeping girl bossing, dude.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty much where she is helping a lot of like these nobles what would you call them, not servants but like their guards, like their personal guards one of them, it seems a little homoerotic when he gets healed, but he's like, oh, his leg was injured in
Nice.
an accident that I caused. And then she heals his like best guard and like best friend. And it's like they're like, oh my god, it's a miracle, and so she wins favor through that. And yeah, I think overall it's been really good. It's a lot of that. It is a lot of flaunting the overpoweredness of the ability.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
yeah,
just
that's
essentially
like par for the course for a lot of these.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
this is
really.
what these series are. It's the same thing like how Kuma Bear was. It's very much, well, no, it's not really the same
Campfire
as
in Another World.
Rank.
Campfire.
Yeah, Campfire Another World. I mean, especially at least especially for like the female protagonist side, it is very, very much like Kuma Bear, very much like the 80,000 gold for retirement. Especially like Kuma Bear because it's like, again, do you like the series where they save all the...
is cutting out a little bit here.
Stream died for a second? Yeah, there we go. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm back. I don't know what's going on.
What were you saying a little bit past 30 seconds or so?
It's very, I was saying it's very much, I'm just waiting to see if my thing is going to stabilize. Oh, I see what was happening. Dude, Steam, let me tell you something. Steam, really good platform. Love when it just starts downloading stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway, yeah, so it's very much like Kuma Bear in the sense of like, do you like when the orphans get saved and when everyone's happy? Well, this is the series for you because she is going to save those orphans and those sick children. Right. So, like that, I mean, that to me is just like, I could watch that shit. Why not? Like overpowered, like altruism. Cool. Great. Good vibes.
Yeah.
So,
that
stuff is very fun.
Can I ask real quick about the audio visuals, because I don't want to necessarily.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. Not hot.
Because I wasn't gonna. I don't want to rain on your parade, but this poster art, if you squint at it wrong, it kind of looks like a DL Site Toho fan game.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
So it's not like the audio visuals are like awful. It's just that they're not really doing anything like miraculous. Right, they're not. It is a very basic style. There's not like a lot really to look at.
Which studio is this?
That's a good question. I didn't let me look because I remember I saw like there was a ton of producers. Jumando. What the fuck? Oh, okay, so they did Ori. No,
oh, I think I've heard of that. Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
So they must be like an offshoot. They must be an offshoot, maybe, of something. Let's see. Jumando is a fairly recent studio step, dude. You can't.
They're not the off. Okay.
Motherfuckers need to like step up and really start like updating Mall. They're like, hey guys, fairly recent Japanese support studio established at the tail end of 2009. That's not that fairly recent, guys. It's been over.
They
did.
They did Konohira.
They are an offshoot.
Yeah. And Hoshino Samidare.
They have a Korean branch based out of Seoul. So there's that. But it's also, it seems like they probably have taken a little bit of Doga Kobo and JC staff too, because they are mostly the support studio for them. So maybe they've pulled in, or maybe people get like kind of kicked over after.
But mostly they've done like in between for a lot of different series. So
it seems like Konohira and Mendokusai is like their most recent one, right? And
okay, and a bunch of.
I mean, there's Akiyaku Reijo. Oh, Akiyaku Reijo is coming out, and that's another one that's going to be big from that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Cosplay Rakuen and Bokuto Masaki Sensei and Ayakudan Opai Tokumo is.
These are fucking Kino, dude. What are you talking about?
I don't know about these.
Hey man, would you watch these or the recent Kintawi Berserk stuff? I'm just saying.
Hey man, they were producers. They were producers on the original Yuri Yuri. So like,
Yeah, okay.
You know,
That's pretty good, though.
that's gotta
Yeah.
mean something, right?
That's like street cred, at least.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
they got street cred. Yuri Yuri season 1, Achikoshi, like come
Yeah.
on now.
That's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. I
We
gotta
don't
give it
talk
up for
about like
Achikoshi, at least.
fucking Lucifer's Hammer or whatever the fuck that series was
Yeah, yeah,
called.
Biscuit
you know,
Hammer.
and-
Lucifer and the Biscuit
yeah,
Hammer
we're
or
not
whatever.
gonna. Yeah, we don't. Let's like just like don't pay attention to that one. Or like
How
most
are
of the
the
others.
what's the audio? What's the audio
So like,
like?
I mean, music is like kind of
It's
whatever,
standard?
right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's like it's fine. It's not
OPED is
bad.
also standard?
Yeah,
Okay.
OPED is pretty standard. It's cozy. It's fine enough. It's fun enough. I think the cool thing, one of the cooler things, is that the main character now named Kusumi Rin, or not named Kusumi Rin. The main character is voiced by Kusumi Rin. Yeah, Kaoru. What is her new
that a
last name?
newcomer?
Yeah, Kaoru Nagase is voiced by Kusumi Rin. She is a mostly newcomer. She has done a lot of supporting,
Okay.
or not a lot of supporting.
Okay.
She's done some supporting roles, but her only mains right now is Hiyori from Slow Loop. It's what is this? Level 1 Dekedo unique skill. I don't remember this series.
It's
from
the
summer
one. It's the one I
2023.
skipped over.
Yeah,
Level
it's
what? Which one?
unique skill. Level 1 Dakedo unique skill de Saikyo desu.
Isn't that the one from this season?
Saikyo desu. No, it's from summer 2023. It says maybe it's ongoing.
I don't.
No, it
There's a
aired.
lot
Yeah,
of
it aired
level
July
unique
8th to
skills.
September 23rd. Yeah, and she voiced like the supporting a main named Emily Brown. So that's like one of her mains, not very well known. There's literally like more likes on Slow Loop than there is on that series. So like, you know, you're real down there at that point. But yeah, so this is probably going to be like her more notable main role, I would say, and she's doing a great job. You know, she's killing it. She doesn't sound off. She sounds very seasoned in that regard. So yeah, I hope to see more of her. Hope to hear more from her. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and other than that, not really much to talk about insofar as like voice cast. Again, the visuals get the job done. They're really not there for you to like pay too much mind to. Like I gotta keep it honest with you. Like they're not great, but it's at the same time, it's not like, you know, I would argue endlessly against someone who is like, listen, man, you know, I'm not trying to be out here and be like, look, the art's not there for you to look at, okay, Sweaty? This is One Punch Man season 2. You're literally not supposed to look at the screen. Actual conversations I've had with people, by the way. You're not supposed to look at like
I get
it's
the
not like
comparison you're
looking at it
making.
takes it out. Yeah, it's not like looking at the series like takes you out of anything. It's just like
Yeah,
this
you're
style
not
is
sitting here being
very
like, wow, this is PowerPoint. Yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
You know, like the style is not. Well, actually, the style's not really
It's
nothing. It's
innocuous,
just very
I think
soft.
you want
Yeah, it's very
is the word.
soft. It's very
Innocuous.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know. I think it's fine. I think the more so the pull of this series is like I want to see an isekai, a power fantasy isekai where a girl like saves the orphans and then the nation and then the world. And yeah, I think that's probably all it's just it's fun with the way she employs the powers as well. Like it's not it's very inoffensive in that regards. Again, that's probably one of the reasons why I've enjoyed the female protagonist isekai so much, because I do feel like and vending machine as well, because like the or and like campfire as well, because like these are series that are very much yeah, they're not getting stuck in like the harem or like, I fucking time to gather up some slaves route. You know what I mean? Like I feel like at
Hey
this point we're
man,
gonna get like the
judging from the
female.
Western reaction,
We're gonna
there's
get like the female
absolutely
power
nothing wrong with
isekai.
raising slaves. Clearly,
We're gonna get like the female power isekai that's finally like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and not fucking buy the slaves, you psycho. I'm gonna free the slaves.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna fucking free them and like
I
kill
like
the slave owners.
you know what's like the best part about a lot of these isekai series, where it's just like you have the extreme moral contrast between any almost like any time you have, say, a Japanese male protagonist or whatever, right? He walks into a kingdom and he sees like even the slightest bit of like political kind of rust or like conflict or tension, right? He's immediately like, you know, this thing doesn't happen in Japan because Japan is a democracy or whatever, right? And it's like, these having these kings and rulers and like dictators is not good, or goes on this spiel, right? About democratic ideals. But like then he'll turn around and be like, yeah, I'll buy like 2 of these slaves, right? It's just like it's like, please.
I'll partake in your finest slaves, please. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, holy shit, dude. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, exactly. You don't got this shit in Japan. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's walking in like,
Anyways.
geez, we got all the downsides, but none of the upsides. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
what's a fella to do when in Rome? Am I right? But
Instead
yeah,
of being
so like,
angry about
all I was gonna say was like, yeah, like that type of shit. Like, I very much have been enjoying these sort of palate cleanser because like they still do fall into the same sort of it's a very similar shticks, except very much less direct comments on like, like this would never happen in Japan, which is also ironic because it's like, yeah, listen, slaves, like kings, this would never happen in Japan. Who would ever have a king? Or like, I don't know, some kind of like imperials or emperor of some kind. Who would ever do that? That's so ridiculous. Like,
Oh
it's a
my God.
little weird. But I do very much, I've been liking the trend line with these series that kind of don't do that, but they do go like, I fucking hate like royalty. I hate all form, like I hate every like, hierarchy going on here.
Right.
And I don't want to talk to nobles. Like I fucking hate nobles. Just straight up. And then like characters being like, look, okay, I guess there's like some good nobles, but like there's definitely not that many good nobles. And then just like actually fucking with, the bad nobles, which are, plentiful. So I've been very much enjoying those aspects to it. And like I said, no harem, so that's better. And yeah, I would say check this out if you are of. I mean, first of all, like check this out if you've liked any of the other female like protagonist isekai series, right? Because like this is just another one to throw on your plate and fucking watch and like just indulge, That's kind of been what these have been for me. It's like the like, death by chocolate cakes. Like this is the most like indulgence like possible for me with an anime series. It's like I just want this, exactly what this is. It barely even matters what it fucking looks like at this point, realistically.
Right.
Just show me this and I'm just gonna have an actually like relaxing time going through it and just going through the ropes of like, hell yeah, like save those orphans. Like,
Yeah, instead of
use your
doing
cheat
something,
power. Like you got it, you got the cheat power, fucking use it. And use it to save the orphans. And then when that happens,
yeah, instead of
I'm
trying to do like
satisfied.
something weird, like setup or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of being
Just-
like, hey, why don't we like get into like the nitty gritty of like this statecraft, and then like we're gonna have like a side harem and like we're gonna do all this
Yeah,
rom-com
exactly.
stuff. It's like, nah, that's fine, like whatever. I'm just here to see like I'm just here to see someone like roll through and just like fuck up nobles and save orphans and the poor. So, to each their own, I guess, but that's just me. So if you're into that, if you like that, if you've liked Kuma 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 Bear, or if you like this, I would suggest checking that out. Or 80,000, saving up 80,000 gold for retirement. All of those and more, any of those series, I would highly, highly, highly recommend this.
All right, pretty good. What's your Mal rating?
I guess like for my Mal rating, I'd give this a 7. Obviously because it's like very lacking in some of the audio visuals. Like it's not very lacking, but it's like standard, but in a way where it's like even like the action stuff isn't really doing anything too crazy. Like Mal has it at like a 6.5 right now. I would say like if I was giving it a real score, I would give it like a 6.5 because I'd say like it's above average, and then some in a little bit. So there's a lot of enjoyment you can get out of it, but I wouldn't say like this is not something that like you should be if this is not something that you literally know you want to watch right now, then this is not something that I would like be like
Yeah. Like
recommending.
this sort of style is very, how do I say this? It's geared towards the people who have become used to this because like this is sort of a subculture, a meta right now, kind of. Is sort of what
I mean like
say.
my own experience was literally like, I was sick for a couple days and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna power through like wow man, like what haven't I finished yet? And then I powered through like some of Bofity and I was like, damn, I kind of want
Yeah.
more. Like what about like saving up 80,000 gold, and then I blew through that, and then I blew through Kuma Bear, and then I was like, fuck, like I got nothing left, like I got none of these series left right now. And then it was like, oh no, with this season, like Potions is coming out. I'm like, nice, I got one more in me for now. So this is kind of just like, keep the ball rolling with this kind of
Yeah.
this kind of series. And yeah, it's very, very good in that regards.
Pretty good. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dark. And this series is called, I believe, what is it? I Shall Survive Using Potions, right?
Yes.
I Shall Survive Using Potions, also known in Japanese as Potion-danomi de Ikinobimasu, also known as Potions anime. That's literally the shortened title for it. And this is done by, I believe you said Jumondo, right?
Yeah, this is
Jumondo.
Jumondo.
So yeah, they did Konohiro Mendokusai, or yeah, the healer anime or whatever with Dark Elf that came out recently, and a couple others. But yeah, if you do enjoy this sort of female protagonist doing power fantasy stuff in a very sort of like flashy and relaxing way in a sense, please do check this out.
Yeah, and don't worry if you don't like this one. I just remembered actually, I got another one coming up in 2 weeks, so look forward to that.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much. And that will move on to number 3. Nier, what do you have for us?
So I watched Undead Unluck, which
Okay.
is a manga original, shonen. It is a David Productions main production. And the basics, I mean, the basic premise is pretty simple. You have the main character, Izumo Fuko, who's been sort of cursed with this strange power, to where anybody she touches basically gets cursed with such bad luck that they die shortly thereafter. and story starts with her essentially about to jump off a bridge, and then she meets our other main character, and an unnamed man who is incapable of dying, and he calls himself Undead. And then, through a series of circumstances, they sort of team up, and they tackle this sort of secret underground organization that's sort of hunting down these other people with powers similar to theirs. I think they call them like negators or whatever, because all these powers are like, you know, something, right? Like Fukuo's power is unluck. The undead guy's power is undead, right? Like he can't die. One of the villains that they fight, her power is like unchanging. So there's one that's like untouchable, one that's like unlike like unmissable or something. Okay, but yeah, they're all like all the powers are like named like unblank. And then sort of the general like general premise aside, this is largely just a you know bad guy of the week shonen, but it's got really charming characters, and a lot of the battles are pretty interesting because it's not really just it's kind of sort of set up in a way to where it's like almost like a JoJo battle where like half half the battle is sort of like figuring out what the other person's power like actually is,
Okay.
and then sort of figuring out how to counteract that.
What's
with
the? Can I ask real quick? What's the balance between the monster of the day and there is like foreshadowing and like a larger overarching plot going on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the balance between those two?
So, like at the very start, it's really just battles, right?
Okay.
And then sort of as
And
they,
character introductions as all
yeah,
this.
yeah, of
Okay.
course. And then as they sort of like uncover a bit more here and there, they actually end up joining the like secret organization with like the attempts to like either take it down or like change it from within. And then they uncover that like, you know, this sort of secret organization is kind of like doing this like secret battle for like a quote unquote greater good cause. And it's not as simple as just like beating all the bad guys, It's sort of a matter of like, you know, there is a like greater work or a greater force at play that they sort of have to work around, and they kind of have to work both with and against the bad guys to kind of get what they want, right? It's really interesting, because the sort of I guess character motivations are a little bit I guess split up, right? Because the main girl, Fuko, is sort of the one that wants to take down the organization and change it from within or whatever. But then Andy, the undead guy, he just wants to die, right? Like that's all. That's like his main goal is to die because he's been alive for a super long time, and his power essentially is like he's incapable of dying, right? But like Andy's hope is that with Fuko's power of like just you know imparting like such bad luck that people die, that if he gets like sort of close enough to her, um because the way they sort of establish her power is that like the more I guess intimate the contact is, the more like bad luck it imparts, right?
Mhm.
Like the first episode, she gives him like a kiss on the cheek, and like a meteor comes down from space and fucking hits him. Um, so it's pretty outlandish. All the characters
How much
are
of that is sort of how much of this series is the I'm guessing it's like a central kind of like not thread element of the series, but it is like the slapstick comedy and like the kind of outlandish like supernatural things that happen based upon, the bad luck, right? Essentially is what I'm
um
guessing.
I mean, it's pretty comedic just outside of that. Like
Okay.
Andy is voiced by Nakamura Yuichi, right?
Oh,
And
nice.
he's sort of doing this like very, machismo, bravado kind of voice. And Andy as a character is like he's almost always naked, um, because he's constantly getting like limbs and stuff cut off.
Right.
He's always smiling, like he's never not smiling.
Who's he
Um,
voiced by? Do you know?
Nakamura Yuichi.
Oh, okay. I bet. Okay.
Yeah. Um, so he's pretty much always yelling. He's always smiling. He's always naked. Um, his ultimate goal is to, have like the most sort of intimate moment with Fuko. And so his idea, like his like goal is to basically just protect her until she basically falls in love with him, right?
Mm.
But he's such a like loud, um, like, you know, sort of arrogant dude that it's just like, it's a very kind of like slapstick kind of thing where like, she's always yelling at him and he's always kind of just like laughing it off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Can I ask a
it's
side
it's a pretty
question?
comedic series.
Just real quick. Is does Nakamura Yuichi do a good? I don't want to say it like in like a negative way, but if does he do a good job of doing voicing the character because he has a much deeper voice now, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like he's not able to use his like say like younger Hazama voice or like his like Oreimo kind of
Yeah, I mean
voice. You know what I mean?
he
Then
he is doing a much more explicitly deeper voice
okay.
with this. Like
Oh,
he
because
it's
that like fits the
yeah, like the
persona.
sort of machismo, right?
Okay.
So it's a really good pick. I think I'm
Okay.
gonna be honest, I think he genuinely carries this series. Like
Oh,
like
okay.
like his
Nice.
performance is really good in this.
Mhm.
Um and he sort of carries a lot of the comedy. Um and like even as a character that's like constantly just like it's a very non-serious character. He doesn't take things very seriously at all. He's sort of this character that's lived for they don't really say how long, but he's been alive for a really long time. Um, and he sort of has, you know, kind of just lets things sort of roll over him. Um, but when there are serious moments, he still does a very good job at, sort of bringing that like machismo bravado vibe down to him being a bit more of a like somber tone. It's a really good performance, I think. And then
Mhm.
the main girl, Fuko, is voiced by Moe Kahara. I think she's pretty much a newcomer. I
Mhm.
think her
I feel
her
like I've
like
heard her name somewhere, but
I think
yeah,
her
she's
first main role was in Shoke
mhm.
Shoujo, which came back was in like 2022. Um, and then other than that, she's was in like what is this? Um, she was in that like Kunoichi anime, like
Oh,
the like village
yeah.
of ninja girls or whatever.
Yeah. That
Um,
learned about love or whatever it
yeah,
was, right? Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, she really has not been in very much. Um, so she does a pretty good job. I feel like the character of Fuko doesn't really give her that much to work with. She's kind of just constantly like screaming and crying and shouting.
Right.
She's a bit of a generic character. All the other characters are again pretty charming. Um, the villains are like a lot of the returning villains are pretty good. There's this sort of martial artist dude that's just constantly randomly like blurting out fucking Chinese phrases. And he's quite a himbo as well. He's pretty funny. One of the villains.
When you say like
Um,
returning villains, like do they take up more of like a Team Rocket kind of role, or like how are they structured, or how they kind of
um,
portrayed in the series
so the martial artist dude, he is sort of treated as like he kind of just pops up every now and then.
and
Um,
gets blown away? Yeah.
yeah, like they haven't really like beaten him because they haven't figured out his actual power yet.
Mm.
Because his power seems to be like they don't know how it works, but he's essentially seems to be able to um like force your body to react in a certain way. Um, and the way they like explain it is like um the one time Andy fights him, he's like he describes it as he's like constantly leaving an opening.
Hmm.
And then when your body goes to like exploit that opening, your body does the opposite and it like actually attacks the side that he's defending. Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, so it's sort of interesting. And
Mhm.
then one of the other villains that they fought, um, Gina, which is like the Unchanging girl, is voiced by Yuki Aoi. She does a very good job. She's like this sort of like she's kind of doing like a Lollibaba role, um, where she's like she's like an old lady. She's like 60 years old or some shit.
Uh-huh.
Um, but she's doing this sort of like JK
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
like Genki
lolly
girl kind
baba,
of
yeah,
thing.
like a
Yeah,
noja lolly kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then
I,
you have like Kugumi Irie doing this like um she's like
Kudere.
voicing this like a giant robot thing.
Oh, nice.
Um and she's literally doing like the
The
the fake
Alphonse L, right?
fake Grand
Yeah.
Order like Nobu voice.
Oh,
Um
really?
yeah.
I thought she would pull out the fucking Full Metal Alchemist voice
No,
there.
no. Yeah, it's like the Nobu voice. It's quite
Okay,
good.
okay, okay.
But yeah, all the characters are so far are really really charming. Um,
Hmm.
it's a pretty like tongue-in-cheek series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's not a lot to say about it. It's
How
a
do you?
pretty standard shonen series, right?
Yeah. It
So
seems like a pretty good straight adaptation, but obviously it kind of it seems to embody kind of part of why we watch anime in the first place with David Productions, right? Where it's like you have it kind of upscaled, or like it's a higher quality
yeah.
kind of version
Um,
of like what
as
you would
for
find in
yeah,
anime.
as for audio visuals, I mean, like I said, the voice cast is just really really knocking it out of the park here, I'd say.
Hmm.
Um, and then the visuals are really really good. A lot
Yeah,
of the action scenes are just really really well animated. Um,
yeah. Again, David Productions, so
yeah,
it's like
like they're definitely putting their A
back
game in
into
here.
yeah.
The soundtrack is probably not quite as memorable. The
Hmm.
OP is actually really nice. I like the OP a lot.
What is it?
Uh, it's 01 by ZU Vachi. I don't know. It
Uh,
almost sounds like um, a
I need to check that out.
Mazarashi track. Uh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh, it's by Queen Bee. Okay, 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 okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, but it's got a bit more of like a somber, like muted tone to it, which is
Hmm.
a sort of interesting um, dynamic to like the actual series. Um,
Okay.
I'm sure it's foreshadowing something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say about this. I think it's just an overall good show. If you like shonen, this is definitely something to check out. If you like Nakamura Yuichi, this is definitely something to check out. Again, I
Yeah,
think
I
he
think this
really,
is just like a kind of like a cluster of things that are just good, and it's not like one of those situations where it's like too many cooks are spoiling the too many cooks in the kitchen. It's just like a bunch of good things that are all kind of
yeah,
coming together
yeah.
and
It's
helping
it's
well.
not like a super ambitious thing, but
Yeah,
it is creative. It is charming.
yeah,
Um, it's very likable.
yeah.
There's really nothing to nitpick,
Dislike about it.
I'd say, about
Yeah.
it. I think
Hmm.
it's just overall good. I
Uh,
definitely recommend it.
What Mal rating would you give it?
I'd probably say somewhere between 7.5 and an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Nier. That was Undead Unluck by Dave Productions. And yeah, if you want to see some of the crazy kind of outlandish supernatural action that is, again, done by the obviously very solid team over at David Productions, starring uh, Nakamura Yuichi leading a bunch of, veteran voice actors and doing a very good job at it as well. If you want to kind of see all that action taking place, please do check out Undead Unluck. Last but not, I guess. I don't know why I keep saying last but not least when I'm in the last one. I guess last one here.
Truly humble.
Yeah, I apologize. Is going to be here. Firefighter Daigo. Let's see this. So Firefighter Daigo, Rescuer in Orange, or Megumi no Daigo, Kyuukoku no Orange. So what this is like you might how do I say this? It might be a little bit confusing to people once they go down the My Anime List kind of rabbit hole and or Anime News Network rabbit hole. But essentially, there is an original series called how do I say this? So there's a general series called kind of Firefighter Daigo, Fire Company M, Megumi Daigo. It also had like an anime about it that was called Megumi no Daigo Kajiba no Bakayaro or whatever. So Daigo Fire Company, which involved this original kind of like inspiring firefighter, legendary firefighter that became a legend called Asahina Daigo. Now, um, Firefighter Daigo Rescuer in Orange is an adaptation, anime adaptation of the sequel of that manga, where there is like another Daigo that works alongside his companions and stuff like that to put out fires. So this is a sequel to the original manga, and the original manga was a sort of like a cult hit, and it now got a sequel as well as these sorts of anime adaptations. And I believe it also has live action, if I remember correctly, and they were all quite popular at the time. So anyways, this anime adaptation, again, Firefighter Daigo, Rescuer in Orange, Megumi no Daiko Kyuukoku no Orange, uh, sequel, anime adaptation of the sequel is done by Brainsbase. So you guys, they're a very, very, very long time studio. They've done everything I want to say from like, what is it? Just like Akikan to like, uh, yeah, they've done a crap ton of stuff. Yeah, they've done everything from like Akikan to like Spice and Wolf season 2 to Your Eternity, just like a lot of stuff. So long time studio, and the staff is essentially uh, Murata Masahiko, director Murata Masahiko, and the duo of him as well as Fujita Shinzo, both uh, pretty decent veterans in the industry. I would say probably um, Murata is a little bit more experienced than Fujita is, but both of them were involved in a couple of brains-based stuff. I think To Your Eternity, as well as one other stuff. I want to say like Mazin Kaiser or whatever it was. And so they've essentially taken their To Your Eternity team and some other people in Brains Base and some of the subcontractors that they're working with for this team, and they've clumped them together to create this Firefighter Daigo's adaptation. So pretty consistent team that they had so far. Again, veterans from the previous teams as well as from Brains Base To Your Eternity team, which was pretty successful, pretty good quality as it is. They also have hired, I want to say, a pretty solid line of voice actresses. Say they have Sakura Ayane as sort of the one of the main heroines, or the one of the I want to say female deuteragonists in Nakamura Yuki. They have Enoki Junya as the titular Toaki Daigo, and Yashiro Taku as sort of the main sort of almost second person Watson like persona, the main sort of like get him, get her, get it done kind of do-gooder character who's hardworking, Onoda Shun, and he's being voiced by Yashiro Taku, and obviously a lot of the A-listers, veterans of the industry coming up, Konishi Katsuyuki, Inoue Marina, what is it? Um, yeah, Takeuchi Shunsuke, Quest Takeito, uh, Tetsu, stuff like that. Nakamura Yuichi, a lot of the names that you'll hear around these parts. So pretty solid, I want to say, staff and Seiyu list all around, rounding up a pretty, I guess, good start to the series. The opening and ending for the visual, or sorry, the audio part of the audio visuals is pretty standard. I would. The opening is Anthropos by Kanjani, and the ending theme is Perfect World by LMYK. And I the opening is a pretty standard kind of J rock male vocals kind of thing. It wasn't that impressive in my opinion. The ending was, the standard sort of quiet ED. I like the ending a little bit more than the OP on average compared to, the other openings and the other endings out there. But both of them were pretty standard, I would say. The BGM overall is pretty well done and not too intrusive, but it's definitely like it kind of adds a proper vibe to the atmosphere. It almost kind of felt like, you know, something like the Chiayi Huru OST, where it kind of just added a very good kind of timbre to the scenes. The visuals themselves, of course, are fine. Again, the brain space to your eternity team kind of pulling it in pretty well. It does try to stick to the original character designs that are kind of reflected in the older times in the older manga art style a little bit more, so you can kind of see those faces, those thicker eyebrows, those lines, those eyes, and like the hairstyle kind of stuff a little bit more in the anime. But it is portrayed pretty well alongside kind of more modern designs. And the 3D parts of it are blended quite well in, and only kind of really obvious when they're messing around with the vehicles. But again, that's pretty par for the course these days. So yeah, pretty solid audio visuals, pretty solid staff here, I want to say. Let me get to the summary real quick here. So I'm just going to read the synopsis real quick. So the story of how three yeah, the story of how three young firefighters destined to save Japan grow in spirit. Takedaigo burns with remarkable talent and unparalleled determination. Onoda Shun struggles against the walls blocking his own path. Nakamura Yuki hopes to become one of the few female members of the Special Rescue Corps known as Orange. When these three young firefighters who share the goal of becoming members of Orange come together, the story of how Japan will one day be saved begins. And what looms before them is a crisis that endangers the entire country. So, this story is essentially a mixture of
Yeah, when does the fire
the
giant show up?
yeah, exactly, the Shaman King spirit of flame or
Yeah,
spirit
where's
of
the
fire.
spirit of
He
like the
just showed.
fucking what was it? What was the fire? The like infamous fire during like feudal times or whatever. Was it Tokyo? Was it like the
Oh
Tokyo
yeah,
fire? They like fucking
yeah.
decimated
No, no, no.
everything because
That
it's like
was yeah,
everything was wood and
yeah,
paper.
yeah. I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah. When does the
that'll
spirit
be
of
yeah,
that come back to attack? What's going on?
yeah, exactly. um, this story is split between sort of the character growth um aspects of the three main characters. Again, Nakamura Yuki, who is the female member who wants to become, the female firefighter and kind of, you know, has her own very strong motivations that are revealed later in the series, where she as to why she becomes wants to become a firefighter. Onoda Shun, again, taking on sort of the main character, but also sort of the Watson like second person chronicler role in this series, where he's kind of doing his own thing. He works really hard to get where he is. Um, but obviously there are other people that are really good beside him, like Daigo, and he he's kind of coming up against hurdles where he's meeting up against talents and meeting up against challenges where he can't just get through them by his kind of get her done nature or whatever. And obviously Daigo himself, who is like a genius and stuff like that, but has his own sort of uh unorthodox methods to help out the people who need to be rescued, and has his own sort of like, I guess, his own inner story and past and stuff like that. So it is interesting that how the main focus does still shift to one of the Shun instead of sort of Daigo as is sort of the title of the series. But one of the Shun, the sort of get it done guy, is still sort of ultimately the chronicler, even though a lot of the events sort of do center around his solo like introspections and his own kind of life and his career or whatever as he becomes a firefighter. So it is kind of interesting in that aspect. And the other half, or I don't want to say half, but the other sort of element that is sort of the main part of the story is obviously the three characters going through uh, firefighter related incidents and training and stuff like that. So a lot of the episodes so far are related to, or at least half of the episodes right now. There's 7 episodes out as of this podcast recording. At least half of it, I want to say, at least 3 episodes. I want to say. I think the initial incident, like the real life incident, starts at episode 5 or so. Um, So at least 3 or 4 episodes are based around them just training and setting up the initial character lore and stuff like that. So the reason why I was hesitant is so well. First off, I'll explain the basic asset elements of this facet. So when I say the firefighter training and the incidents and stuff like that, they go like this when they do the firefighter training, when they talk about like firefighter related drills or do the real life like firefighter stuff, they go into a lot of freaking detail. Just like anywhere from the equipment to like what they have to do to like their speech, like what they're like the signals they have to give, the stuff they have to say, stuff like that. Um, it's clear that obviously um, the author and the related writers have done their research, and they even have a um what is it narrator uh who is Tsuda Kenjiro, who is voice the voice actor for the narrator, kind of explaining additional stuff in the background, like, oh, firefighters have to go through this training or whatever, blah blah, blah, while like this sort of montage goes on in the background. Like, hey, firefighters have to train for 5 weeks in this special class, in these special classes, learning about these things, blah blah, blah. Or firefighters have to do XYZ to ensure that this happens, stuff like that. And so that goes into a lot of detail. So that's a lot of trivia, and that's a lot of just like hot, sweaty firefighter action that's going on in these sorts of scenes. So that's the other part. Now, how the balance works out is actually quite interesting. So being sort of an anime based around these sorts of characters, right? Like the three characters that have their own reasons for becoming firefighters and growing up to, become legendary firefighters or good firefighters, whatever, right? Because that's sort of the premise of the anime and how that develops, and it has to be sort of an exciting anime in that aspect, right? This is a very obvious, like all the nose dramatization of how firefighters, right, become the people that they are and do the things that they do. And obviously, there's a lot of very cheesy lines like, "Oh,
like, are you oh, it's the goddess of, or it's like, oh, like, have you been blessed by the god of rescue or whatever? It's like, and every time you train, guys gotta put your back into it. So, you guys are blessed by the spirit of rescue. Like all these very cheesy
What is
lines,
the
right?
spirit of rescue?
Morning rescue.
Don't ask
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, morning rescue. Yeah. So what I so two so you might think like, oh, I'm describing this and it's becoming very cheesy, like, oh, they're talking about the spirit of rescue being blessed by the god of rescue. Oh, you guys got to put your backs into it so guys can become the greatest rescue squad of all time, and all these very cheesy lines. But there are two caveats that really dull the edge and prevent it that from becoming too cheesy. And one caveat is that there's the character lore and like background setups in themselves are not that extreme. So it's like when you hear about the girl Nakano Yuki's like background and why she wants to become a firefighter, stuff like that, you think to yourself, oh, like, okay, that's like reasonable as to why she might want to become a firefighter. Like that could presumably happen in real life.
Are you
And
saying the
obviously,
character backstories aren't like my entire family was exploded by a fire monster,
yeah,
and
exactly.
therefore I will become a firefighter?
Yeah, exactly. I saw a firefighter like just passing by me at a mall once, and I just instantly wanted to become a
Yeah,
firefighter.
also,
Yeah.
Uh,
which one of these characters is the firefighter that's committing the arsons? Hmm?
yeah, exactly. The
You gotta have one
spy.
of those. Yeah, which one
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
traitor?
Yeah, yeah.
How is
So
this related to Fire Force?
yeah, it's actually in the same universe. I don't, this is the prequel. Yeah, before the fire becomes sentient. But like her, Onoda Shun, and I would say probably the least realistic of it is might be Daigo, but it's like all of them have relatively realistic character lore and background setups, which kind of help dull the edge of the cheesy lines, right? And the other sort of caveat is that the way the pacing and the amount of material that is provided across like each arc and across the pages and the chapters and the minutes and stuff like that in the series is that it's like 80, like I want to say 70 to 90%, 80% on average, just the firefighter like action scenes. It's just like firefighter action, like get in there, save the person. Oh, their arm is caught. Do this. Oh, this wall is about to crash. Do that. Um, they're trapped in this building. They can't. The door is like locked. They have to find some other stuff. They have to find another exit, and then they use their ingenuity to help save the save the person in trouble while getting themselves out, stuff like that. And there's a lot of that action going on. And obviously, Sudaken, as a narrator, explaining that and all this other trivia. And that, again, I think dulls the sort of cheesiness of the lines going on because the focus is not on the characters and how they're like, oh, I must become the greatest firefighter of all time. There's not really that much of
I must
that to begin with.
destroy fire.
The fire, yeah, exactly. I must make sure all fire is gone from this earth. And that was sort of the fear we had during the previews, right?
Yeah.
Where we were afraid
I
of
mean, my
that it
fear
would
was also that like it would be
show a training montage.
the exact opposite, right? Where it was
Yeah, yeah,
literally
exactly.
just training, 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 training,
Yeah.
and then
Training and
like
like introspection of the
yeah,
characters.
and
Yeah.
then at like the very end, it's like here's a
By
fire.
the way, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, fire. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a very good balance that it struck. And I'm really glad that that happened because, again, as Nier said, and as we were talking about during the previews, if this series had been just training plus, character inspection, being like, will I ever become the firefighter that I was meant to be? If it
Will I
was
ever
just like
become
18,
a fire?
yeah, just the fire, yeah, just the fire monster. He just like bursts into the flames in the
Yeah,
middle of the
sometimes you
You
gotta
office.
become
become the
you've be
enemy
you've become what
to
you've
defeat
sworn to
the enemy.
destroy.
Yeah.
This
God,
really
but
should
you
like have
know
a
that
fire
that's gonna
force.
happen.
This should be like this really should just be like the start, the first person.
Yeah, exactly. The prequel, yeah,
First
exactly.
person to turn
Before the fire
at the
monsters.
end, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I do think it had a very good balance because it helped cut down on the dramatization by being like, hey, guys, we actually have all these firefighting scenes and this firefighter trivia, and like they're doing firefighter things, and it's not just them running around a field and track, like a racing track, being like, every day I train, I become a better firefighter. It's not like that. Most of it's about like the firefighter stuff, which is very nice. And I think overall it creates a very nice balance. And that coupled with how the characters are lined up pretty well in terms of their lore and background settings really makes for a surprisingly decent series. And I knew that there were positive reviews about this franchise in general. I know a lot of people did like the story of both the original as well as sort of this newer sequel, and re- even despite that, I still had a little bit of trepidation going on into this anime adaptation. But I'm glad it turned out this way. So I do think it's struck a nice balance. It hasn't gotten to the looming calamity part yet, but it's pretty obvious that it's going to be like some arson that they're going to have to fight against or some whatever it is, just from the synopsis itself, right? But I am definitely looking forward to it. I do think it strikes a very nice balance, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I just think it did this very well, and I think more shows, more writing, more like manga and like other animation related media in general should honestly take this sort of route more if they want to do something that's a little bit more cheesy and dramatic and pair it up with some sort of like X theme, like firefighting or whatever. I think instead of, because a lot of series out there do kind of go the route that Nier and I mentioned about too much introspection, too much just the guy running around the track field just thinking about how he wants to become the best, X he can ever be, right? Um and I just don't think that's very good because it takes too much away from the actual unique parts of the series, the which is a theme, right? The unique part of a series that gives it a lot of the value in those sorts of series is not really the character interactions, to be honest. It's the theme. It's how the characters play around the theme, how the characters uh respond to them being in swimming competitions or go competitions or doing firefighter stuff or being a police or being in the manga industry or whatever it is, right? um and the less you focus on those things and how the characters interact with them very specific ways, and the more you focus on them doing the whole how do I become the best that there ever was, or like, oh, that guy's getting ahead of me, like that shit, that sort of moral conflict or sort of character conflict we've seen a billion times before. So again, I do think that this series struck a very good balance in that aspect, and more people should follow this example. So overall, I did enjoy the storytelling structure of Firefighter Daigo. I think it was very solid, and I do think that the sort of elements of its storytelling lined up to kind of entertain me quite well. And I also think, again, the audio visuals were also pretty solid. BGM, obviously, visuals by Brains Base, and the directing staff all lined up very well. So I'm quite satisfied by this. Um, it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but the way the story was told, the way it was set up, the way the anime was adapted, all really appealed to me quite well. So definitely a thumbs up for this. I did not expect at all to like this series coming in, and I'm surprised I did. So if
When
yeah.
is Ultraman showing up?
Yeah,
Series.
that's the real question, right?
When does this turn into what is that called? Like disaster crisis or whatever? When does it turn into that? Where you have
Disaster
to be
report.
disaster report. We have to be a firefighter on the ground while Ultraman is fighting a giant monster. Okay.
It's gonna like in the middle of, how we had the game for Protocol Rain or whatever, the game screen, when it's gonna turn into like the firefighter Daigo is gonna transition into that one like firefighter arcade game, you know what I mean? Where it's like you have to go into a
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna just have that all 3D on the screen. But yeah. I really did enjoy how this series was kind of structured, and I would definitely give it at least a 7 out of 10, at least. It might increase. I don't know. I don't think there's a high chance that I would decrease the score as I watch more series or watch more episodes of this. It could definitely go up though. So 7, definitely a very solid series, even if it's not like, even if listening to firefighter trivia isn't your cup of tea, I do think it's just a good watch overall. It's a good romp for sure. So please do check it out when you have the time. And with that, we are on to the news here. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, there's at least a couple of news pieces here. So yeah, most of this is company news. God, I hate this. Yeah. First piece of news. Deadline reported on Monday that investment firm KKR Kohlberg Kravis Robertson Company acquired publishing business Simon & Schuster from Paramount for 1.62 billion US dollars. So a lot of this is yeah, the acquisition also makes Simon & Schuster the only independent major trade publisher in the United States. So essentially Simon & Schuster for the past, like, I want to say X couple of years have been kind of tossed around a little bit, right? Because um, Penguin Random House tried to buy Simon Schuster. Paramount obviously owned Simon Schuster up until now, but they were also a media conglomerate in themselves. So a lot of um, how do I say this? There's been a lot of murmuring in terms of where Simon Schuster would go or how Simon Schuster would go, because you don't want a major publishing company to be under, an already major media conglomerate or another, publisher, right? Because then that makes things much less competitive, which is not
Yep.
what we want. Yeah. So, um, rightfully, a couple of organizations such as the American Booksellers Association, or ABA, asked the Department of Justice in December 2020 to challenge the purchase by like Penguin House, right? Penguin Random House, due to antitrust implications. So thankfully for right now, it's only under the investment firm, but I think we should all keep an eye on where Simon and Schuster, and I think Dark Horse was also getting tossed around in recent years, right? So we
Yeah.
should make sure to see where those go, because I do think um yeah, like we have Seven Seas, we have some of the other like localization companies, but Simon and Schuster and like Dark Horse and stuff like that are very, very, very big and known names in the Western publishing industry with regards to comic, manga, a bunch of other like pop culture kind of publishing that isn't just like, the standard like textbooks and stuff like that. So I think it is very important to make sure these guys are kept out of the hands of much larger companies who can then use that opportunity to kind of abuse the publishing and book selling industry. So just need to keep an eye on these guys. On a similar front, however, Kadokawa reported on Thursday in its earnings results for the quarter ending on September 30th that it aims to establish more wholly owned anime studios under its corporate group umbrella. So I
Boy, oh boy.
this alongside let me also read the next one where it's or no, okay, that's different. Yeah. So a lot of publishers and like a lot of bigger studios, right? Like obviously IG Port started with production IG, but obviously they have been trying to do a lot of more in-house stuff recently, right? And obviously studios like Netflix, and like other kind of publishing companies and even sort of general media companies, right? Like Games is making its own studio, which you might be like, oh, well, it's just Games, but Games is under Cyber Agent, right? Like it's Cyber Agent really that's trying to make all these
Yeah.
different like media companies and try and control Abema TV and control Games and control whatever anime studios that they make. And so a lot of these media conglomerates are, um, I don't want to say understandably, but they are
I mean, they're doing
for
what mega
obvious
corporations do.
yeah, for obvious reasons, they're trying to muscle in even more into the anime production side of things as anime becomes more global and there's more money, there's more influx of like available capital flowing into the market, right? They're trying to nab it up. And I just want to say again, this might be more of a hot take right now. People might not be aware of the full implications of what's going on right now, but I think it is very, 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 very important for people on social media, for the studios that are still out there that are not hooked up wholly under, these publishers or whatever. I think it is very important for those studios to fight against these sorts of in-house creations and acquisitions because the more of these happen alongside obviously a lot of studios going bankrupt, a lot of smaller studios going bankrupt, right? uh, the less and less power independent individual studios have compared to these huge publishers, um, and these media conglomerates and these umbrella companies who are always already going to be like, hey, we have our own studios. We are making our own 3D CGI departments. We don't really need you guys. So you guys better lower your prices because that's essentially why they're doing it. Right. Um, so I think it's very, 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 very important that both studios and anybody on social media seeing this, anybody with some influence can fight against it because a lot of this is also kind of happening under the radar, right? It's not like this sort of news, like we're talking about it because obviously we've seen this sort of stuff happening and it catches our eyes. But to a lot of people, it's not as flashy as Netflix helps make AI anime and says fuck you to the workers. It's not as flashy as that sort of news. But I think this is just as important because if we don't stop this, in 5-10 years, these we're going to be left with like we're not really going to be left with a lot of independent studios. Everything is going to be either owned by these publishers or going to be just like small like second in between animation like second like subcontractor people, right? Or they're going to be like random contractor studios in like Malaysia or China or Korea or whatever, right? And once that happens, it's a point of no return. Like it's just it's going to be all over pretty much for individual independent studios, and I think that's
What do you mean, bro?
around.
Just make more independent studios. What's the issue?
Yeah,
just
they
make
they
more.
just
Just make another
yeah,
dummy.
yeah, yeah. The Tokyo government just needs to have more contests where they
Yeah.
instead of
Where they
paying
fucking say, "Grats, bro, you win. Here's a fucking shitty apartment."
yeah
Uh,
$500. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's just very scary, I think, right now because again, we all already know that the way that these anime contracts are made, these individual studios, don't have a lot of say in how much money that they get or how much really power that they can wield in terms of getting money to their employees in the first place. But once these happen, they're gonna have so much less power. So yeah, I do worry for the future of the anime industry with these sorts of news. Next piece of news. Let's see this. Yeah, okay. World Maker on the subject of, people just putting out anime contests to lure in artists or whatever. It is World Maker, the storyboarding app service for Shueisha's Shonen Jump Plus imprint, launched the short anime film contest with Netflix on Wednesday. Contestants must submit their storyboards created through World Maker for a short of 10 minutes or less. Grand prize winner will receive a 500,000 yen, which is about $3,300 US dollars, cash prize, and their storyboards will be turned into an anime by Netflix. The contest will accept
Wow.
submissions until January
Wow,
8th.
I wonder
Only
who
original works.
who
Did they get
owns
did they get
all
royalties for that?
rights.
Probably not.
I wonder
They're
who will
probably,
own all rights to
and it's
that
like
after
such a
you win.
shitty.
I wonder
It's
who will
like,
own all rights to these when you submit them. Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a I forget what like the English phrase is. I guess it's like being robbed in being robbed in daylight or whatever it is. But it's like there's a Korean phrase where it's
Yeah, in
like,
broad daylight.
um,
And robbed
yeah,
in broad
robbed
daylight.
in broad, yeah, yeah. But it's like in Korean, a similar phrase would be something like, you're getting your nose chopped off with your eyes open, essentially. And it's
Yeah.
just so frustrating to see this, where it's like, yeah, I think. I think when the Tokyo government was subsidizing these contests, it was misguided, but still like decent intentions. Although it still did go to like a relevant studio, right? But it's like
Yeah.
it was ineffective, but at least you could be like, in some sense, you could be like, hey, that's like nice of
Yeah, it's
them,
like the
I
next
guess.
step would then to be like,
Actually pay, like regulate,
subsidize them.
actually.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
subsidize them with the what would you call it? Like the caveat of like, yeah, but like this person who is winning still like has to be the rights holder, or like has to
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah, yeah,
royalties or
exactly.
something like that
Yeah, yeah,
based on it.
yeah.
Like you can't just like,
But
and especially like through the government, like you
yeah,
can't really just be subsidizing shit where you're just like, yeah, we're just gonna subsidize a scam, like we're just gonna go ahead and
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, like the cool Japan or whatever, that shit.
Yeah,
But it's like with these sorts of studio contests that are becoming more and more of a thing, it's especially, when it's done by Netflix, right? It's so blatantly obvious what is going on, right? They're just trying to their Netflix is going to get a super popular original idea for $3,000. Like, okay, they
Netflix
just
is gonna
spent
get
like,
Netflix is also
yeah,
going to get no Netflix is going to get super popular ideas for
yeah, yeah,
$3,000.
exactly.
Because that's the
Yeah,
thing, like I
like,
guarantee you, the caveat is the
Yeah,
moment you submit
they're
your
not only
work.
taking the winner's idea.
yeah,
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 like
Like
exactly, exactly.
and what this
they're
goes back
taking
to is I
All
remember,
of them.
any entrance idea that like piques their interest.
Yeah,
yeah, and
And
exactly.
I
so
guarantee you in a few years time
Secretly, yeah.
you're going to see a lawsuit pop up where it's
Yep,
like, somebody enters this contest, they didn't win, they
yep,
didn't get any fucking
yep.
credit or compensation or anything, and
Hmm.
Netflix just took their idea and made it
Yep,
into a series or something. Like
yeah,
yep.
it's going to
I think
happen.
the other thing to look at was I believe I forget what awards is it Kiwani Awards? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Kyoani Awards, yes.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, that is very similar to that level of like, I guess would you call it like
Imagine,
collusion, where it's like
hey, could you imagine?
nobody wins because your series is fucking stupid and no one likes it and
And
it's
then
shitty and
later
it's
it becomes an
unpopular.
anime, anyways.
Would you like
Yeah, yeah,
$5 so that we can make this the most popular anime on the face of the fucking
yeah,
planet?
exactly. Yeah,
Would
exactly.
like,
Yeah, I mean,
you
at least with
know,
the Kiwani Awards, they were like, they were working with the creators of like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were giving awards to like existing things.
At least
You
they
know what I
gave
mean?
them silver medals. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they were giving awards to like existing sort of stories, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
like contacting the authors of these stories and later on and be like, hey man, we actually like, you know, we didn't give you an award because we're fucking stupid, but actually we
I
do want
mean,
to make
like,
this
see,
into
like
an anime.
for me, I'm like so much more deeply cynical with that, where I'm like, hey man, we didn't give you an award because we would probably have to pay you a little bit more money. We gave you
Yeah,
an award.
if he
Like,
did rate you higher, yeah, if
we
he
would
did rate
say
you
like
higher.
yo, your series is sick and create competition. But now that like your series is actually really shitty and no one wants it, come with us.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah, like at least we
Well,
gave you an honorable mention.
we
Like,
give you an honorable
I mean,
mention.
to
We'll
be
give you a little
fair,
bit more.
at like at the point that the Kiwani Awards were at, where it was like, where like if you got an honorable mention at the Kiwani
It
Awards,
was
you
still
won.
huge.
yeah, that was first
You
place
won the
because there was
Kiwani
no
Awards.
first place.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
nobody was gonna win. So
Yeah,
Wait, was
but
Violet?
I feel
Wait,
like this is like
wait,
a
what was
step
the?
I'm
down,
pretty
like
sure Violet
below.
Evergarden was the only series that ever won.
Yeah, that's like the most hilarious thing to me.
Yeah.
Like, you guys had an awards show for like 10 years, and like the
It's
only
literally
every
Violet
year.
Evergarden is literally Obama putting the medal on himself fucking picture
Yeah,
where it's just like
Yeah.
and, like I would love to see promo for that. That's like, yo, this shit won the Kiwani Awards. Like that's how crazy it is.
but yeah, you know what? Thanks to Dark bringing it up, I just thought
I
of
feel
something
like
evil.
what I did
What if?
want to say though, cap
Yeah,
off that thought was like that. This is like what
yeah,
we're talking about now is like an even like deeper step down than like anything you could imagine from that. Like this is like
yeah, yeah,
this is just straight up like we know what the fuck they're doing. They're just straight up going
yeah,
to be
yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, how about you give us your ideas and we give you
Yeah,
money.
exactly. They're buying. Yeah, as Nier pointed out very well. Um, they're buying like a billion people's ideas for $3,000 essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and also I just thought of a very evil idea. They probably won't do this, but it'd be really funny if they did. What if these guys pull audio awards and not
Or
even
they
the
don't give
award?
any. I mean,
Even
I
the
feel like for the,
I
for
feel like they
for the
have to. They
fucking
have to for this,
measly
right?
for the
Like
measly award of $3,000, if nobody gets the award, it's like, dude,
yeah,
like
dude, come on, man.
what the fuck,
Fuck
bro?
you, actually. Yeah, exactly. Netflix won't even give out $3,000 because it's not in the budget. It's just like,
Yeah.
sorry, everybody wins honorable mentions, guys.
Yeah. Also,
Oh
you
my
signed
god.
all your rights away to these ideas,
Yeah,
Jess.
exactly.
So thank you.
Exactly. Oh my god. I could actually see that happening with Netflix, but it would be like so horrific if that happened. Like there would be reverberations on social
Yeah,
media
definitely.
on the day that happened. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully again, um, what we need is like regulations of more pay for the artists in the industry, as we've been saying for years and years. It's not these like weird contests or whatever that people need, but we'll see how this progresses. Last piece of news here on the Crunchyroll side, after dealing with their security lawsuit, their privacy class lawsuit, and losing it. Crunchyroll
Actually, they didn't lose it. They settled.
Yeah, I apologize. That's true. They just offered free money to
Yeah.
people because they were annoyed. But they have clearly, you know, reverted to being on the righteous track as anime localizers by A, they are now offering free indie games to m- people at the mega and ultimate fan tiers or whatever it is. I don't know what those tiers are, but
What?
apparently they are now if you have the Crunchyroll app, you have free indie games. The launch of the Crunchyroll Game Vault, a growing library of mobile
dude.
games catered towards anime
You
fans.
Bro.
can play all the mobile games
Whoa,
that they
you
fucking
could play all the
canceled
FOMO games
after
that
a
they shut
year,
down
bro.
after like 6 months.
Yeah, it's like this. So the games playable at launch are Behind the Frame, the finest scenery, Cat and Velvet, the Jump Plus dimensions, River City Girls. Oh my god, Wolf Stride and Inbento. So yeah, so they created this app where you can play indie games, and following on their act again as manga, or it's not a manga, sorry, anime localizers and like anime related manga localizers. Crunchyroll also confirmed with ANN on Friday that its web and mobile application for its Crunchyroll manga digital manga distribution service will no longer be available after December 11th.
Just phenomenal work, guys. Just phenomenal stuff. Very
Wait,
good.
I'm sorry. What did they say?
Truly just the best in the industry.
The Crunchyroll manga digital manga distribution service that they had will no longer be
It's
available
gone.
after
Oh
December
my
11th. Yeah.
fucking god, dude!
So they
Like,
opened an indie game service and they shut down their manga
dude, they're
service.
so stupid.
Like, where
They're,
are the
like,
priorities?
So fucking dumb, dude. Hey, listen, guys, we opened up an indie game service because guess what? If fucking Amazon can't really like do anything with this, surely we can, right? Like, come on,
No,
it's just
my
indie games.
God.
And when you think about downloading a completely separate platform, you think, sure, I'll do that for an indie game. That's like $3 on Steam. Definitely.
Yeah. You know what you can't play on the Crunchyroll launcher? Princess Connect.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, that's actually coming back under a different publisher apparently.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. I'm pretty sure
fucking-
it's coming back under like an actual like fucking localizer that's like going to do it with
Yeah.
what do you call it?
Crunchyroll's really out here like just genuinely burning every bridge. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
So essentially
ridiculous.
the timeline of how sort of this essentially the manga shutdown, manga service shutdown happened was because essentially part of it was like Kodansha coming in and saying, because Crunchyroll was mainly working with Kodansha to provide a lot of its like manga series, right? But then
Yeah.
Kodansha wanted its own sort of K manga app service, which is like, you know, it is like a problem when Kodansha started muscling in. That like what I'm again like my question is always with Crunchyroll is what was all the point of this networking and going around to studios and spreading your name in the Japanese like networking and connections if like you lose one, you know, publisher and immediately you're just fucked, like your manga you know what I mean? It's like you should by now.
Because
First.
now they can host the Crunchyroll Awards.
That is true.
Duh.
I mean, I think it's literally just a matter of like get there first, like get there as soon as fucking humanly possible.
Yeah. It's like one maybe could make the argument that's like, oh, you know, as Crunchyroll sees all these other competitors like the Japanese publishing scene kind of roll out each of their own individual uh digitalized digital manga app, then it was hard for Crunchyroll to compete. But the reason I don't buy that again is because Crunchyroll had already set up a way for the global, I mean, the Japanese like scene, both anime and later, you know, manga, right? As a bridge. Like that was the entire point. This is the entire point of the company to bridge that sort of anime manga gap between Japan and the world. And if they're not doing that and instead they're fucking making shitty fucking Crunchyroll original stuff or you know, making their office look like a cafeteria or doing Crunchyroll Con or Crunchy Con or whatever the fuck they call their convention. Um and making this stupid ass indie game app that maybe like 2,000 people will play at most. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys are a localization service. Localize things, please. Do not
I mean,
do this
it's
weird.
literally like they tried to apply the same thought process of again get there fast, get there first. And then they were like, okay, so now we need to get there. We need to just like start doing new shit more and more and like try and get growth.
Yeah,
And then they literally are not getting there fast or getting there first on any of these projects anyway. Because it's like,
yeah, exactly.
again, you could go and play indie games on fucking a million different platforms. Like, there's
Mhm.
Itch.io, But then it's like, yeah, these games are probably like $2 on Steam, or they're gonna be like fucking free on Epic Games Store
Yeah.
next month.
Or they're gonna like
or
or they're gonna
Amazon's
be
gonna give it away
screwed
on
or
like
shut
fucking
down.
Steam
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Epic Games Store.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why the
Yeah.
fuck would I go to your stupid ass platform? It's like you look at Crunchyroll and it's like, yo, you know Netflix has like a games platform? Do you know that?
Mhm.
They do.
Yep.
Yeah,
They actually
exactly.
literally do.
They do.
I bet you most people don't actually even fucking know that. And I guarantee you that's going
Yeah,
to shut down
because
soon.
it's
So,
like, why
what
would you
fucking
why would
chance
you
do you have?
why would you know that, and why would you even like think that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
why would you
exactly.
it's
ever
fucking
try and use
Netflix.
that as a
Like,
platform? Like, are
You wouldn't be
you
like, oh,
fucking
Hulu has a gaming
crazy?
platform? Awesome. Like you'd be like, what? Okay.
Yeah, you'd
like
be like, what the fuck? Why? Like, who
yeah,
cares?
exactly.
It's like Epic Game
Yeah.
Store can barely fucking make buy over here with like an insane cut for developers, but people just like don't really care because again, everyone's on Steam and like
Yeah, yeah.
that is a problem. But you know who's not gonna fucking fix that? Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll's not about to break into this fucking market.
yeah,
So
exactly.
again, if Amazon couldn't do it, Amazon literally couldn't do it with the Twitch launcher when they were giving
Yeah.
away free everything on it.
yeah,
What the
well, you
hell
guys are
makes
gonna be
you
eating your
think
fucking words
you
when
can
Yang
do
Ya is
that?
hosting the next Crunchyroll Awards. So
Yeah.
yeah. Young
Hey
is
guys,
gonna
welcome
voice
to
the next
welcome to the Crunchyroll Awards
hey
2024.
guys, anime of the year goes towards Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2, Part 3.
special. Wasn't it like a special or whatever
I
at
don't
this
know.
point? It was like
I don't fucking know anymore, man.
it was like the final chapter 3
The
special
final
2 trailer.
chapter finale part 2
yeah, exactly.
special.
Oh,
Yeah, they're gonna do a
yeah.
Christmas
We're
special
gonna have
too
Young
soon.
Ye.
It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, we're gonna also have Young Ye voice the next, what is it, like the Crunchyroll original set of
Oh, you know
anime.
what? I have to make this joke as an aside because I'm so fucking mad I didn't say it in my review and I was supposed to say it and I fucking forgot about it. But
Hmm.
let me pull up the voice actor I spoke about for Potion-danomi.
Oh my god.
Let me pull her. What was her fucking name again? It was Kusumi Rin. Yeah. Do you know what
Yeah.
her hobbies slash special skills are?
What?
Karaoke. Do you know whose hobbies and special skills are not karaoke? Yang.
God damn it.
What do you mean, dude?
Yo, but he's saying that's true.
He can
Yeah.
hit, dude. He can hit no notes, bro. I don't know.
Zero.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you can do that,
Yang-e-
but
Yang-e's singing capabilities. This is gonna be a deep cut, but Yang-e's singing capabilities are literally on par with fucking General Michael Flynn. Okay, I don't know if you've seen that song or that video where
No.
his fucking voice needs to be pitch corrected to where he sounds like a fucking Vocaloid, but that's basically what we're hearing. So, you know,
Oh my god.
that's the
It's
levels
so
we're dealing with here.
yeah. It's so unfortunate, but yeah, it's just Crunchyroll, what are you
This
doing,
is
man?
fucking crazy. Like, I mean, who
Yeah.
would have thought that like Crunchyroll was going to like single-handedly bleed itself and Sony dry of funds at this fucking point? Like,
I'm just
bro,
hoping that the issue is
dude,
it's like it's
Crunchyroll
too
is
much
spending
of a
money
fix.
on this, and it's like you literally just released a series where some fucking dummy used like the worst machine translation on the fucking planet for your subs, and like you're
Yeah.
not like reflecting on that and being like, maybe we really need to reprioritize, or we're
No.
not gonna fucking be here
No.
in a couple of years.
no.
It's yeah. Anyways, this is our daily, our episode,
Quota.
yeah, episode quota for hating Crunchyroll, as is justified. But it is what it is. So yeah, that was. Oh wait, just one more piece of news. Again, we don't usually talk about people news too much, but Hayashibara Megumi, and if you don't know who Hayashibara Megumi is, you guys need to fucking step away or put your fucking heads down because she is, yeah, I mean, she is Rei. She's Ainami Rei in Evangelion.
She's Rama and
Who?
Rama 1/2.
Who?
Literally who?
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. What? Shit? Uh-huh. She's Lena Inverse in Slayers, like all these things. So you guys should know who Hayashibara Megumi is. But anyways, she is finally stepping down as the voice of Sanrio's mascot character, Hello Kitty. Hayashibara has voiced the character since 1990. November 1st is the day Sanrio celebrates as the character's birthday, and Sanrio is marking the character's 50th anniversary next year. But yeah, I believe she is pretty much she is like the only voice actor or the main voice actress for Hello Kitty, but she is finally stepping down after 33 years of voicing this character. So almost as iconic as obviously the voice of Ash Ketchum or Takashi is stepping down, but um, it is what it is.
I mean, if
She
there was
can't
any
voice the
time
character for.
too,
Yeah, yeah,
like
exactly.
I guess like before
It,
the 50th and everything, like
yeah,
get some new blood in there.
yep. So again, unfortunate that she had to step down, but obviously she has a prolific career already, and best time to step down rather than her potentially breaking down or whatever later when she's much older. So hopefully we can get like a better voice or another good voice for Hello Kitty there. And yeah, that was pretty much all the news we had for today. And we are finally coming up to our shoutouts and callouts. Everybody here gets one shoutout and one callout each. Shoutout is something that you want to give 5 out of 5, praise to the heavens, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And call out is something that you want to insult, stomp on, rage, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. Although I think I know what a couple of call outs might be today. But anyways, we will start out with Toast. Shout out call out, please.
I'm going to shout out. Uh, I'm gonna shout out Backpack here. What is it called? Backpack Battles? Yeah, Backpack Battles. Pretty good.
Okay.
It's a free demo on Steam right now. Check it out. I love Backpack Battles. Yeah.
And your call out?
My call out. I'm going to call out. What's that guy's name? Lance Reddick.
Okay.
For?
4?
He died too young. How dare you?
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
My favorite
agree.
skit is the Eric Andre skit.
Okay.
That skit is so
Also-
fucking good.
I wish it were LeVar Burton.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Near? Shout out call out.
I'm gonna I'm gonna call out Young. Yeah.
That's crazy. What?
I think he's
No
fucking.
way,
I
dude.
think he's dog shit. I think his voice acting for Kiryu is really bad. I think the clip that's come out recently of him singing fucking Breaking the Law, where it's heavily auto-tuned, and it still sounds like shit, is like at that point, you should just not dub the song. You know what I mean? Like you should just be
you
like,
should actually get
okay,
somebody else.
like
Yeah.
you should be like the character's like dialogue is dubbed, but when we're doing the karaoke, it's just not dubbed because this dude cannot sing. If this dude had a gun to his fucking head and somebody was like if you can hit 2 notes, I will not shoot you. He would not be leaving that room alive.
Yo,
Okay.
bro is like getting failures on like Rock Band fucking singing.
Yeah, like that shit is over, bro. Like,
if the doctor came in and had to do surgery on his throat, they would just look at him and be like, "Nope, it's already over."
It's
Yeah.
over. There's nothing we can do. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh Jesus. But yeah,
um,
it's a little bit unfortunate that
yeah, that
that
shit's
casting
fucking
happened.
crazy.
I mean, I'm
But
being honest with you. Like, part of it is kind of fortunate because, like, realistically, like, fucking play Yakuza in Japanese, and like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
come on now.
yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
as for my shout out, so I personally am not caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen, just something I really need to correct. But I recently um watched uh a clip from what I'm assuming is one of the most recent episodes um of one of the fights. Um and I gotta say the fucking animation that like Mappa is putting out for this series is like it is like beyond movie quality. It's fucking insane. Like it's absurd. Um like if you just look up like I think it's Jogo versus Sukuna is like the most recent fight. Um like if you just watch like clips of that, if you can find it online, I don't know if they're on YouTube or not. I don't know if they're getting like fucking copyright struck or whatever.
Mhm.
I watched it on Twitter, but it was like just the animation that the like Mappa is putting out is like there's no way that these animators are not being crunched to fucking death, but it's like holy fuck. Like holy
Yeah.
fuck, this shit looks good. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy. Um
It's interesting because obviously, I mean, I don't want to. Jujutsu Kaisen is very strong brand by now, like very strong. It like appears regularly in collaborations and just all over the place. Like there'll be ads of it like on subway, on trains and stuff like that in Japan, like just everywhere. Um, but eh, I mean, it just shows how much love this series is getting. I just hope that the animators, we don't hear about the animators jumping out of a window in
yeah.
in a year or so.
I hope they are seeing their families at the very least.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
And not
Oh
through
no, we
voice
got
chat or video
Chainsaw
chat.
Man to fucking make after this, buddy.
That
It's
is
true.
also, oh
It's
my
true.
god, that is so true. God damn it. Anyways, so yeah, the real technology isn't going to be making realistic 3D CGI or like having AI make realistic art. It's going to be cloning technology that allows people to clone like the artists.
Yeah, just
And
fucking just have a hordes of animators.
yeah, exactly. Oh Jesus. Anyways, thinking year. What about you, Dark? Shout out, call it.
Okay, I'm gonna have kind of an interesting one, I think, because I'm gonna shout out MMOs right now. Okay, like, well, I don't even know about MMOs. I'm gonna shout out World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft's new patch, very fun, very cool. I'm a druid currently, so we're eating good. We got like fucking a million new forms to transform into, all thematic. It's awesome. Probably some of my favorite lore in the game. So yeah, that's all good. I guess you could count like Genshin as an MMO kind of. That's been fun. And then yeah, just I don't know. MMOs in general right now are kind of doing pretty well, doing pretty hot. Feel. Oh yeah, and then
All right.
BlizzCon. BlizzCon was fucking dope. BlizzCon, like all the new expansions look sick. All the announcements were awesome. And it feels good that like WoW feels like back as far as like content wise is going right now. And now for my call out, um, I'm not gonna call out Yange because personally I think it's like really fucked up and like there's so much like Yange slander.
Uh-huh.
Um, and what did he do? You know,
Leave Ye alone,
Not
man.
saying is what he didn't. Yeah, yeah, that's my yay. This is my yay now. Okay,
Yeah,
this is the only
exactly.
yay I know. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so my call out now is also my call out is going to be to MMOs. Because I don't think I called this out at one point earlier. And I'll start off with calling out I'll start out with calling out FF14 essentially, like under my MMO banner, because FF14 introduced the new Alliance raid with the most recent patch, and I think it is genuinely one of the worst stories they've ever told. And like the only story that I genuinely wish I could fucking forget and like just was not in the game. I don't remember if I called this out or not, but like I remember that today and I was like, "Oh my god, it sucks." Like it's so bad. It's fucking terrible. Like there's no way that I can like fully describe how much I fucking hate what they did. Then like you know how like people posit that question to you like, "Dude, what's like one game like, if you could like forget, entirely just wipe from your memory like a game other than your enjoyment of it, right?" And my knee jerk reaction right now, at least, is always going to be like, like, "Oh, dude, I loved playing through fucking like Elden Ring for the first time." Like, I know that's like
Mhm.
recency bias, but that was so sick. For this, it would be like I would leave a note, like I would fucking like tattoo myself, like fucking memento, and be like, "Okay, you forgot about the Alliance raid. Like, do never learn about it again. Like, don't. Like, do not look anything up about it. You don't need to know. You don't need to remember. It's okay." Yeah, that's how bad it is. I fucking hate it. And I think on top of that now, I know I gave a shout out very much to World of Warcraft and Blizzard, but also Warcraft got probably its worst cinematic they have ever fucking released on the face of the planet. I shouldn't say like cinematic, it's like the in-game cinematic. The new expansion cinematic was really cool. This thing though, I don't even know what to call it. Like I don't even know what it's called. I have to see if there's like a yeah, dude, here it is. Okay, Spire, give this a watch when you can, because this shit is like,
What is going
this
on?
shit fucking stinks, dude. It is
Yeah,
literally
this shit
like,
is generally some of the worst writing I've ever seen in like media. Like,
it's so bad that I thought it was fake. For people who may not know, it's like there's basically an Avengers scene, like the Avengers portal scene, but it's so much worse. It's like, it's so fucking bad. Like I know like there are some people that are shit that love to shit on the Avengers and they're like, "Oh man, the Avengers portal scene was so fucking stupid." I'm like, "Come on, man. Like the Avengers, like it is stupid, but it's like, you know, it's the Avengers and everyone's here." And that's like stupid, but it's also, the Avengers. Um this is just like every character that has had nothing to do with the game or the expansion for that matter just like fucking pops in and they're like everyone's here, like I am not alone, and it's awful. It's like so fucking stupid and so bad.
Please
It's like
clap. Yeah, you can almost hear the directors going, "Please clap."
it's embarrassing. It's genuinely embarrassing. It's like what the fuck were you thinking? Like it has to be that like they pulled everyone off of this expansion to be like, "Look, we got Chris Metzen back. We're gonna work on the next 3 expansions in fucking what do you call it? In like like us alongside
when,
each other."
when
Yeah,
everybody comes together, it doesn't even remind me of the Avengers. It reminds you know what it reminds me? It reminds me of the Smash Ultimate trailer, like the meme where it's like X
yeah,
is joining,
everyone's
has joined the band. Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like it's so fucking bad. But you have to understand that Spire, I play WoW all the time. Seeing these characters come in, I was just like rubbing my eyes, like, what the fuck are you doing here? It's like, I'm not alone. It's like, bro, I haven't heard from you in 6 years of like real time. It's like, you haven't been around for fucking 3 expansions. What are you talking about? You're gonna be like, oh, everyone's here. Do they even know what's happening? I haven't spoken to this person in almost a decade of my life.
Bro, they've been playing the expansions, dude. They know.
Yeah, it's just like,
Oh my
what the
god.
fuck? Like, what?
The
Like,
top comment is, behold, Firex ultimate power, turning himself into half a chessboard.
Oh yeah, no, that was funny too. It's unfinished, so like the fucking main bad guy turns into a blue cube with a missing texture.
This reminds me of the
But it's
King Kong
awful. Like
game that came out recently.
Near pointed out, like people are like focusing on like that, and it's like, well, yeah, this is like a data mine like cutscene, but it's like I didn't think it was real. Like when everyone popped in, I thought it was like a joke someone made because like yeah, this would be like haha, wouldn't it be so fucking funny if like Blizzard's shitty writing made like the Avengers portal scene, but like in the worst way imaginable.
Yeah.
And then like I learned it was real, and I was like, I don't know, like I still don't even know if it's real. Like like what? It's like, are they just gonna change it? Was this a joke? Was this like fucking like you guys data mined it, but really like I don't know, like fucking Alex Strauss dies or something? Like I don't like I don't get it. Like, how do you make something this fucking stupid? But yeah, so that's been my like lamentation, where it's just like I think about it and I'm just like, I don't understand how this happened. I just
Yeah,
don't get it.
it's
Don't get me wrong, like WoW's
Yeah.
had really bad writing for a really long time, like, but like even probably like their
you know what's gonna
worst
be
examples have not hit like this. Like,
you know what's gonna be funny is this time next year you're gonna be like, oh, that writing like wasn't as bad as what we're seeing right now.
dude, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Like, Chris Metzger's back. Like, there's no shot. Like, the new cinematic trailer for the new expansion was like really heartfelt, really like emotional. And then for
Mhm.
their in-game cutscene with this expansion to like cap it. I mean, this isn't the cap off. This is like when you're entering the raid essentially. But like the fact that this came out after that cinematic, like I'll link you that for your own watching later, Spire, but like
Yeah.
the fact that what you just watched came out after this is like fucking baffling that they weren't like all hands on deck. We have to fucking like change this. But yeah, it's fucking awful.
In comparison, in comparison, this definitely. uh, God damn it. All right. I guess thank you again, for, Dark, for shout out call out. My shout out call out. Let's see this. Call out is to all the people that are just like took hours and hours and hours and hours, and then they were just like, by the way, like you just need like essentially a factory wheel. We can't do anything, and essentially all of the auto repair shops that just gave me the runaround for like an entire day. While I was trying to get my tire and then my rims fixed. So, uh, call outs to them. My shout out. Let's see. I feel like I had a shout out, but I think I actually do want to shout out like uh Firefighter Daigo. Actually, yeah, Firefighter Daigo, because it's like I legitimately didn't expect me to enjoy a fucking firefighter trivia series, but it actually managed to be good. So, shout outs to that, honestly. Um Maybe I should have nah. I'll wait until the Front Wing Visual Studio comes out properly, and then I'll shit on it or not. But yeah, that was my shout out slash call out. And with that, we are done with the third set of reviews for this fall 2023 season. We have 2 more to go again, and then we'll hit winter previews for next year, as well as the end of the year awards. So please check us out for that. And if you do like what we do every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. Again, within Room 04, we stream our podcast recording live here. Talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation, media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. We have our content recorded and clipped as well for highlights and obviously different reviews and stuff like that here, as well as on YouTube. So check us out there as well. We have social media on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, and on Twitter at 4PPAnimeCast, again with the numeral 4 for more news and updates on when we stream, what we have uploaded, so on. So check us out here, check us out there. And as always, we'll see you next time.